evening. Welcome to the August 16th, 2025 meeting of the Mount Juliet Municipal and Regional Planning Commission meeting. As we begin our meeting tonight, I want to make a couple of comments. I hope and believe that everybody in here tonight can hear me well in here as well. When you all come to the microphone and speak, everybody should be able to hear you as well as my fellow commissioners. One of the things that we do not have tonight that we traditionally do, we traditionally have video that corresponds with our meetings, where we do broadcast our meetings live, and as well they are available, I think, through the city's website as well to watch meetings should you miss one or need to be filled in. So tonight we are audio only. In order to make sure that we keep an accurate meeting, we are recording that. Our recorders are set into place so that we can record. The only thing that I ask is, just like I'm trying to do right now, is still speak up. So if I am a little bit loud and you're near the speaker, apologies for being a little bit loud, but I'm doing that intentionally so that we can, you guys can hear me, but also be picked up on the recording. So should anyone come and speak tonight, just try to keep your thoughts clear and concise and make sure that you speak up. So if you talk real low like this, we might be able to hear you. So speak up, and we want to hear from you all when the time comes. As you all can see this tonight, I am missing all of my other half over here. So in lieu of that, I would like to read everyone our quorum requirements. Our quorum says the presence of 5 members of the commission shall constitute a quorum for the transaction of business. The chairperson may, at his or her discretion, wait up to 30 minutes after the scheduled meeting time for a quorum to be present. In the event that a member is required to leave a meeting prior to adjournment and the departure causes a loss of quorum, no further official action may be taken until a quorum is restored other than an adjournment. A majority vote of those commissioners present, and in no case less than 4 affirmative votes, shall be required to decide any item of business requiring action by the commission. With 6 members present, we do constitute a quorum. Even if we were to go down to 5 members, we do still constitute a quorum. And as stated, any item that to pass does require 4 affirmative votes in order to do so. With that being said, we will move on tonight. I also want to apologize for those that might have been watching last month's meeting. I was absent from last month's meeting. I did enjoy a nice vacation. I kind of beat our fall break crew, and looks like the fall break crew had the week after me, and I hope everyone that has students enjoyed your fall break, enjoy your family time, and welcome back to school as well. We do have a big agenda tonight, so we will move forward with that. This time we will set the agenda. I am not aware of any changes, items. Commissioner Franklin?
Yeah, just one. Could we pull 6M off and just go right before 7A? I'm not against it. I just had
just talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
All right. No issue. Any issues with the commission? Seeing none, we will move 6M off of the consent agenda, and it will be heard prior to item 7A, which is a PUD amendments, but it will be heard individually rather than with the other items on the consent agenda. Any other changes, amendments, adjustments? Seeing none, we'll set the agenda as stated. Our next item up on our agenda this evening comes for our staff reports. We'll begin with our city planner, Mr. John.
Thank you. I would just like to remind everybody that November 12th is the annual training session, so get excited for that. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Wonderful. Shane, anything from Public Works?
Most of y'all probably know the new grocery store is opening up in town tomorrow morning around 6:45-ish. With that, Sprouts opening, there'll be a traffic signal going live at Everett Downs. So just want to let our residents know to keep an eye out for that signal, drive with caution. And outside of that, that's all I've got tonight, Chairman.
Wonderful. Thank you all. Our next item up on our agenda is our citizen comments. At this time, we will take citizen comments. The public is welcome and encouraged to make public comment about any item that is on our agenda tonight. There'll be 2 opportunities for you to make comments. You can speak now, or You can speak when we present the item to the Planning Commission. And I do ask, especially with the full room, and we even got standing back there in the back this evening into the hallway, that you do limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. I'm going to keep a timer up here at 3 minutes. Hopefully everybody's kind of looking at me a little bit as you're doing your comments. If you see me kind of wave at you like this, that is kind of a 1 minute warning. I really hate to hit the gavel and stop you, but we do have a lot of people here tonight. We're interested to hear from anyone that wishes to talk. And so at 3 minutes, we will be stopping and moving on to allow the next person to speak. So please be conscious of that as we move forward, because I do not like doing that, because we're here for you and here to hear from you. So please be conscious is all that we ask. And again, speak up. Make sure everybody hears from you. Next item up on our agenda is, citizen comments. Anyone wishing to make comment at this time, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Seeing no citizen comments at this time, we will move forward with our next item on the agenda. There's a good little warning right there. If you got a cell phone right now, please go ahead and put that thing on stun and turn those ringers off. Our next item up on the agenda is going to be our minutes approval underneath 5A to review the minutes from the September 18th, 2025 Mount Juliet Planning Commission meeting. Any changes, amendments, adjustments, typos, errors? Seeing none, I'd like to ask for a motion in regards to this item on our agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's a motion and a motion by Commissioner Armstead, second by Commissioner Franklin. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? That passes. At the count. That would be abstentions. Just I'm announcing this because we have no video tonight. Abstentions for Commissioner Searcy and abstentions from Commissioner Giles. Next item up on our agenda is our consent agenda. I'll begin with item 6A, is to review the final plat for Windtree Pines, Phase 8, located off Windtree Club Drive. Item 6B, review the final plat for Bradshaw Farms, Phase 2A, located off Vanderbilt Road. Item 6C, review the final plat for Bradshaw Farms, Phase 2B, located off Grace Road. Item 6D, review the modification to the preliminary plat for Cane Break, located off Devonshire Drive. Item 6E, review the preliminary plat for Rosemont, located at 1826 Bender's Ferry Road. Item 6F, review the final master development plan for Rosemont, located at 1826 Bender's Ferry Road. Item 6G, review the preliminary plat for Tillman Place, located at 6235 Central Pike. Item 6H, review the final master development plan, site plan for Tillman Place, located at 6235 Central Pike. Item 6I, review the site plan for Legacy 5, MOB, located at 113 Bear Crossing. Item 6J, review the site plan for proposed restaurant located at 1209 Rutland Drive. Item 6K, review the site plan for Faith is the Victory Church located at 2564 North Mount Juliet Road. Item 6L, review the site plan for the Treemore Amenity Center located off Bender's Ferry Road. Before I ask for staff comments, Commissioner Giles has something for us.
I have to remove myself because I have a financial and personal interest in Faith is the Victory Church.
Very well. Thank you, Commissioner Giles. For the record, let it be noted that Commissioner Giles has left the table. With that being said, let me open up to staff comments. So, John, planning.
Sure thing. Staff recommends approval. I believe that these are all just approval items now forward. So yeah, approval with the listed conditions in the report for all of these items. I will point out on 6I, the Legacy 5 office building, the staff report incorrectly says a 2-story building, it's a 3-story building, it's 55 feet tall. That's all.
Very well. Shane, anything from planning? I mean, from Public Works, sorry.
We recommend approval of all the items with our staff comments. Thank you.
Very well. Thank you. Commissioner Bowman, do you have a comment?
It was on that Legacy 5 that I had emailed. So the building is indeed 55,000 square feet and 3 stories. Okay, understood. Good to go. Thank you.
Perfect.
Sorry.
I have, sorry, let me get my microphone back on and operating up here. I've got a couple of minor comments. The 6E, 6F, I guess both directed towards Rosemont. So that was, I think that failed here at Planning Commission, but it got back to the BOC, and the BOC was sponsored at the BOC, and it's passed. So this is what was passed to the BOC.
Yeah, like identical.
Okay, perfect. Item 6J, real quick, let me pull this out. I have a comment on that. 6J. Apologies.
Okay, restaurant.
1209 Rutland Drive Restaurant. Comment here. J. Restaurant 1209 Rutland Road. So this one's come up a couple different times. If I am reading this correctly, this project has applied for variance to do a thin brick material. And if we support staff's comments, the variance would not be granted, and they would be required to do a traditional brick. Is that correct?
Correct.
Very well. That's really all I wanted to clarify right there. And just one question, and this is on 6K, just because I believe that this is just a renewal of that project. I remember very well when it came before planning last time, and we did approve it. The stoplight that is going there, Curd and Mount Juliet Road, can you speak to some timing on that possibly, Tom?
Yeah, the signal's anticipated to come in end of this year, I believe. During their peak Sunday operations, they will be required to provide 2 traffic control officers, one at their driveway, one at the signal. The signal will be in flash as an officer-controlled intersection.
Very good.
The signal's gonna be slightly north, it's not
Correct.
gonna be across, okay. That was gonna be my question as well, thank you.
Very good. That's all I got. Any other questions, comments? See none, this time we'll call for citizen comments in regards to these items on the consent agenda. Anyone wishing to make comment is welcome and encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Seeing no citizen comments at this time, I'd like to call for a motion in regards to the items on our consent agenda. Please, Samantha.
Public hearing for the plats.
Sorry. Let me pause that real quick. Let that one slip past me. At this time, we need to close our planning commission meeting and open a public hearing. Public hearing is in regards to item 6A, which is review the final plat for Windtree Pines, Phase 8, located off Windtree Club Drive. Item 6B, review the final plat for Bradshaw Farms, Phase 2A, located off of Anna Road. Item 6C, review the final plat for Bradshaw Farms, Phase 2B, located off Grace Road. Anyone wishing to make comment about any of those 3 items during the public hearing is welcome and encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Seeing no citizen comments at this time, we'll close our public hearing, reopen our planning commission meeting, and at which time I'm looking for a motion in regards to the items on our consent agenda.
Motion for approval, comments?
Second that.
It's a motion by Commissioner Searcy, second by Commissioner Bowman. All of those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? Is approved. Very well. Next item up on our agenda is item 6M, which is a recommendation item back to the Board of Commissioners. It is to review the zoning ordinance amendment to Article 8-207.3, minimum lot area in PUD overlay districts. Before I ask for staff comments in regards to this item, I do want to make note for the record again that Commissioner Giles is back at the table and rejoined the Planning Commission meeting. And at this time, I'd like to ask for staff comments in regards to, or John, please.
Good thing, I'm sure you remember a few years ago, I said maybe 22 or 23, maybe not quite that long ago, we had no minimum lot area requirement and no average lot requirement for residential PUDs. You know, you have to meet the overall density of the base zoning district. Hypothetically, you got RS40, you gotta have 1.1 units an acre. And in a PUD, the lots could be whatever size the board allows. That's how it always was. We had no minimum until a few years ago. And a couple of years ago, we added the minimum 10,000 square feet and an average of 15,000 square feet for residential PUDs, regardless of the base zoning, all PUDs. This simply removes the 10,000 square foot minimum and replaces it with 7,500 square foot minimum. So down to 7,500 square feet for the minimum lot size, and then it eliminates completely the average lot size. So you have to meet the overall density of the base zoning, but you can have lots as low as 7,500 square feet, small as 7,500 square feet, with no average requirement. This is for all residential PUDs. Does not apply to mixed-use PUDs. That's it.
Shane, I don't think we have anything for public
No
works.
comments.
Very well. Commissioner Franklin, some comments?
Yeah, I guess I'm just a bit confused. I was not on board when this occurred, and trying to understand, because it would have no effect over any of the straight zoning districts at all, because they're all above this anyway. And so we do have some product in Providence that is quite a bit below this. I know one of the products is at zero. I actually couldn't keep them on the market. They sold so fast when they originally sold. And I guess my question for the board, unless I'm just missing something, is there any reason to have any sort of minimum at all? Because we went for how many years without it? And
Please.
If I remember correctly, it was exactly what you were talking about. There was a particular subdivision in Providence that I believe had 5,500 square foot lots, some of them. And it just came out of that. I don't know the backstory on it, but it was shortly after some of those came through.
that's when it was changed?
Yes, it was, fairly recently, but it was in response to, we were getting a lot of PUDs with 5,000 square foot lots.
I'm just playing catch up here.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems to me that if commission and the board of commissioners doesn't want 5,500 square foot lots in a PUD, they just don't approve the PUD. I just don't understand it. I guess I'm just at a little bit of loss. I'm not opposed to this, but I guess I would be just as in favor of just taking it all out altogether, like it was for, I guess, 15 years anyway, maybe more. And just let it rest on the will of the planning commission and the board of zoning.
I'm on a similar opinion myself is my hope, should this be passed by the Board of Commissioners, would be to see more variety in the presentation and the product in which we see come before the Planning Commission. We do see a lot of density items, but here of late, especially with over the last couple of years in particular, it seems like there is a real onset of townhomes. And it's kind of my belief that the ordinance as written currently kind of discourages the ability to separate houses and still create density. I would probably lean towards Commissioner Franklin's statement to, I too like the 7,500, but as well, I don't know that it's a bad thing to look at a zero on that either, because if it's within the PUD, then we are able to use both Planning Commission and BOC as we look at each thing individually. But I look forward to hopefully seeing more separated houses. As I like to say, an opportunity for those, and it seems like, especially with the grocery store, as Shane mentioned earlier, the kind of the Whole Foods onset, it seems like you're seeing more people wanting to do, whether it's herb gardens, fruit gardens, tomato plants and whatnot. You've got a little bit of dirt, no matter how big it is, you have a little bit of an ability to do something like that. And when you stack them, you don't necessarily have the same opportunities afforded to you. So I would kind of be of the same opinion to Commissioner Franklin there, but excited to see it. Commissioner Giles, please.
So the best way I know how to ask this is just to tell you where it is. So we lived in Old Hickory Village at one point. Our first home was there. And since we've left, they have, in an area there, they've built these small homes that go up and back. And I assume, is that, excuse me, what, we're like where the old hardware store was and all that. Would that be 0 lot? Is that what that would
The lot
be?
size would get you towards that. Yeah.
I live there, and I know what you're talking about. I think they're just straight up townhomes there, aren't they?
They're 3 and 4 bedroom
They're
homes.
single
if I'm not
family.
mistaken.
I
They're
can't
single
remember.
family.
I've watched it, it's been years.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're shotgun, but they're very popular and they're very, people want, and we've had some people that had some interest in doing it at different places out here, so, and if I'm not mistaken, those that were built were fee simple ownership. Isn't that correct? They have an HOA, but they don't,
You own each one individual. That is
yeah,
correct.
and that would give the room for what you're referring to as far as the tomato plants and the gardens and et cetera.
I would have to, with that, ultimately give it discretion, just say no minimum lot requirement, let it come in as a PUD, let it develop as it will. I don't think that any one of us is, like, say, hey, man, go grab 30 acres and do this to it, but the right place, right positioning, there's opportunity.
I'm trying to think of what the downside could be here. Would it allow crazy high density in any way, shape, or form?
Come in
Where
underneath.
there's a will, there's a way from a developer, right? If they can find a way around a rule that legally locks us into allowing something, what does
John?
that look like?
They're always capped by the maximum density permitted in the base zoning.
Okay.
So if it's RS 40, that's 1.1 units an acre. If the lots are 2,000 square feet, they still can't exceed 1.81 units per acre in that zoning district.
So there's gonna be
So
12
there's no-
houses and
there's
6
no-
acres of green
yes.
space. I
On the
gotcha.
overall density of the whole project, there's gonna be no impact on the density.
Okay.
It's just lot size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my concern there is we will have to be very careful in allowing any zoning changes if they want to go much more dense on the base zoning to allow for a higher density because of this lower average lot size, possibly. So there's gonna be some discretion as opposed to a base code they have to follow.
I can tell you, in my 20 years here now, I've only seen one project come before this commission underneath the base zone. Everything that I've always seen has been a PUD.
Gotcha.
Just, I can only name one project only.
For density.
For density, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of that, I think that every residential item that I've seen in my tenure has all been underneath a PUD overlay for a residential,
Okay.
which gives you the planning commission and your BOC the authority to discretionary, as Commissioner Franklin says.
Got it.
Further questions, comments? Good roundtable. Good discussion. Commissioner Franklin?
I was against it, but listening to the discussion, because I wanted not to crowd and overbuild in a smaller area, but it seems that if we follow the rules that you're talking about, that will be up to us to make a decision about it anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Commissioner Franklin, did you have anything else you wish to add?
Well, yeah, one more question is since this came from staff as a rezone request, do we, and it may be different for municipal because I've been at the county a long time. We kinda either vote it up or down the way it comes in and make suggestions, but we have to vote it up or down the way it was written as the way it's before us, or is it at the municipal level here? Can we send it any way we want? I guess that would be my question.
Smith, would you like to reply to that? So
You can
cool.
approve it with comments or with the change that you're suggesting.
Well, I mean, it's come to us as a specific, taking it back down to 7,500 square foot. If we didn't like that, I guess we just have the choice to vote it up or down and then make suggestions. Or could we send our own can do what they want anyway.
Positive recommendation with these comments, and your comment would in turn have that adjustment.
Would that be the better way to, okay, well, I'd just like to make a motion, positive recommendation.
Hold that one real quick. Let me call for some citizen comments on this. This time I want to take citizen comments regards this item on our agenda. Any citizens wishing to make comment, welcome and encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Seeing no citizen comments at this time, I'm asking for a recommendation in regards to this item on the agenda. Commissioner Franklin, would you like to repeat that?
Yeah, I'd like to, make a positive recommendation, but to go further, just why not just eliminate all of it? Just let it fall back on base zoning district.
Second.
That's a second by Commissioner Giles. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? For the record, no one against, no one abstain. Next item up on our agenda also is a recommendation item back to the Board of Commissioners, falls underneath the PUD amendment. It is item 7A, it's to review the PUD amendment to Golden Bear Place located at 4515 Beckwith Road regarding Public Works Condition Number 11. So, Shane, Public Works.
We do not support the variance as presented, and I'm gonna let Todd been working on this with the developer, and I'm gonna let him take it from there.
Very well. Todd, please.
Yeah, thank you. Brief backstory, in early 2014, Golden Bear Place came in as a PUD amendment, I believe it was 2024, sorry. Prior to that, it was named something else. Director Barlow put in a condition that any driveway between Golden Bear Gateway and Beckwith Road has to be right in, right out. They have since come back for another PUD amendment where the engineering department decided to keep and reaffirm that condition. Since that time, the proposed land user in one of these lots has changed, and that land use is requesting removing that condition. They would like a left into the site to the northern parcel, if you're looking at the plans provided here. It would still be restricted to right out only. Staff is not supporting this. We do not recommend approving, eliminating these conditions for a couple reasons. The first one being, it doesn't meet our access code, where we have adopted the Highway Safety Access Manual, and they do not have adequate spacing for the full access drive there. The second being that they cannot provide sufficient deceleration and taper from the signalized intersection prior to the driveway, so that driveway is now going to be in the functional area. They have provided you this sketch of what it would look like. They have worked with us on this sketch, and this is the best case scenario if these conditions are removed.
Is that the item that was given to all the members of the Planning Commission as we began the meeting?
Correct.
Okay. So to clarify for us as well, real quick, the quote-unquote site in question would be for, I guess, for the whole development, right? Not necessarily just for this parcel or this parcel?
It's for the Wawa, right? The left-hand turn into the Wawa from the east-west road.
Correct, and we have a condition in our staff report that does request that should we approve their request to add a language restricting the southern lot to right in, right out only still. And that's why you see those medians kind of channelizing that left turn.
I was actually gonna say, it'd be neat to see this one, rather than just the map, to kind of help explain it, because I was a little bit confused of the request as presented to us and what the impact of that would be. Can you go, Sorry, I don't got my microphone on. My apologies. There, hopefully you can hear me a little bit better now. I was just saying, speak up, everybody, and I was guilty of not doing so. So, on what we're looking at, if this were to be granted, would it be site specific or would it be PUD specific? So allowing this vote for that to happen potentially amongst any other things that could develop within this PUD, because it's obviously not fully developed or fully built out, or would this be just towards this one site? Are we even allowed to do it towards one site?
So the conditions of the PUD are very specific so that they only apply to 2 lots. The northern lot there with the Wawa and the southern one with the proposed McDonald's.
Okay.
So to answer your question, it's kind of both, right? We need to alter the entire PUD to solve a site-specific problem.
So if we were to say we would be okay to the Wawa, it would also offer up McDonald's to do the same.
Unless we adopt the conditions provided in staff in our second comment, where they would be required to install the medians where that other left couldn't come in. It also restricts lefts out of the Wawa.
Very well. Questions or comments from the commission? I just want to make sure that we're kind of clear on that. Seeing none, looks like we have some representation, so let's go ahead and ask for name and address for the representation and give us some thoughts.
Great, thank you. Mark McDonald, 115 Jackson Boulevard in Nashville. First of all, I want to say I appreciate Todd and Shane working with us on this. This is like a giant Rubik's Cube trying to make this thing work and do the best we can to satisfy all the conditions, the standards that TDOT's got. I was under the impression, and I may be wrong, that the way we've got it designed right now, we had adequate stacking for the left turn into the Wawa. That's what I thought my engineers had told me. I was thinking the only variance we really needed was there is a standard in TDOT that says you have to have 330 feet before the first access point, and we're at 300 feet. So we pushed, and we have to be 100 feet from the roundabout. So there's a sweet spot that allows us to be 300 feet, and we can't get to the 330 feet. But I think there's adequate taper and adequate stack. I thought there was adequate taper and adequate stack. My engineers here may be able to answer that question better than I can, for sure. I trip up when I get into engineering talk. Wawa's a great tenant. They're new to the market. They're exciting. We did get them. We've been wooing them for 2 years. We did convince them to put their pumps in the rear of the building, so not facing the main boulevard, which was, really good salesmanship, frankly. It was hard to do. But I know it's what the city requires now, so they agreed to do it. Unfortunately, they won't go on this site without a left turn in, because it goes from being a convenience store to being an inconvenience store if you have to circle the roundabout to get into the space. And I appreciate that. So, we're just looking for consideration to say it's a complicated site. We did modify the roundabout in order to make it big enough for the trucks to get around the roundabout. We originally had a 96-foot roundabout. This is, I think, a 130-foot roundabout. But we wanted the roundabout to function safely for everybody, even though it had been approved at 96 feet originally. So we're trying to do the right thing. We just would appreciate your consideration. And if you have any specific engineer questions, I do have my engineers here that can answer questions.
Todd, please.
Point of clarification, that sort of northeast left turn lane into the Wawa, that is designed perfectly to code. The issue is the outer left turn lane at the signal, where they don't meet ACTO standards for deceleration and taper length for that left turn lane.
It's not necessarily the left in to this side, it's the left out on the Golden Bear that your concerns. Sure. What is the queuing or the stacking to the left hand into this side? Do you know what that is, Todd? Off
The
offhand?
left hand in was
Yeah, so if
pretty
this were-
small, about a car.
Without getting into the merging left-hand traffic on Golden Bear, or left turn traffic on Golden Bear.
The left hand in queue was pretty short. That sort of southbound left out, that's about 175 feet. Yeah.
Is that gonna be, so it looks like, I don't know how to describe the little shape with the first median, or to turn off Golden Bear into the site heading towards the roundabout. You've got that one little divided median there that's an odd triangle, let me just call it. It appears to me that it has an extended, possible extruded curve that goes down to make the point of that triangle. Am I seeing that, or is that striping that I see defining that separation between the left-hand movement on the Golden Bear and the left-hand, or potential left-hand movement into the Wawa?
No, that would be a raised curve,
It'd be a raised curve right there.
not transversal.
But where it's white is just basically the only part that would potentially be grass or,
Most likely concrete.
okay. The left-hand movement into the Wawa site, is that controlled with a yield sign, a stop bar, striping? How would that movement be controlled?
It would be controlled similar to any other left-hand turn lane.
Just a yield sign and,
Implied yield, yeah.
okay, and striping? It's a public street, correct?
Correct.
Questions, comments?
So, I got one.
Please,
I
Commissioner
just
Franklin.
wanna make sure I understand this. So,
Yeah.
the conflict is coming back out and trying to turn left to get to the intersection, is that what you're saying?
Yes, the conflict,
Where it's not long enough, where there's not enough stacking, you say is the
There
outside
is-
left turn lane?
there is sufficient stacking, there is not, they don't meet the standards for deceleration. They're providing that 110 feet bay taper, that is their total deceleration for a minor collector. And it was 240 feet required between your taper and a full length, or full width lane to decelerate.
And how much short are they?
From code, about 130 feet. However, there's language in the HSAM, in constrained conditions, you can lower your design speed by 10 miles per hour. Generally speaking, this would not qualify for a constrained condition, but it's worth noting. And I would need to look up what that was. I know the taper ends up being about 105 feet. The other issue is that if a full access drive does not meet our access code. We would require 440 feet for a full access drive. 330 for a restricted drive, so we're already not meeting that anyway.
Okay,
This would,
too close to go there.
yes.
Period.
Other questions, comments from the commission, or Commissioner Johnson?
So if we don't grant this waiver, then what it's saying is that they're gonna have to go around the roundabout to get in up here.
And maintain the left in, left out. Or,
Go all the
yeah,
way.
right out, left, yeah,
To come in right here.
yeah, right in, right out. That's
Well,
correct.
I mean, if I need some gas, I'm gonna go around the roundabout to go get the gas.
Well, there will be a gas station there, so it won't help.
Well, I can go somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, at what point do we allow, national corporations to bully the city?
Yeah, and please, they're not trying to bully us, they're just not willing to take the risk of going there without that left turn in, which the the left turn in does meet the standards. But of course, you gotta get out once you get in, that's the problem. And the problem really is, I think the people coming from the right-hand side of the page, I think this is right, Todd, right? It's not the people coming out of the Wawa that have the problem with the left turn onto Golden Bear, it's the people
Correct.
passing through.
It'd be the people exiting the roundabout
Right.
towards the signal.
I got you. I see, I understand that.
So the Wawa works, it's just the other people coming, there's pesky people in the back coming through.
Yeah, it's real busy. I love a good roundabout. I think they're very efficient use of space, but there's a lot going on here, and half of it's not even built out yet.
Questions? Any further questions, comments? Thank you, sir. Let me go ahead and call for citizen comments in regards to this item on the agenda. Any citizens wishing to make comment are welcome and encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Seeing no citizen comments.
Is it possible to defer this in order to get a little more clarification about this? And I don't know if that's possible, but I'd like to see something on explained a little bit more than just this.
We'll say with this item, particularly on our agenda, positive or negative, it ultimately goes before the Board of Commissioners, where the Board of Commissioners will make the final decision towards this. So I would encourage us to do something. Yes, ma'am. With that being said, I'm looking for a recommendation in regards to this item on the agenda.
I'm gonna put forth a negative recommendation based upon staff's comments.
I have a motion from Commissioner Bowman for negative recommendation. I have a second from Commissioner Giles. It's a motion and a second for a negative recommendation. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Against? Abstentions? That is a negative recommendation. Yes, sir. All right. Next item up on our agenda falls underneath site plans, final master development plans. It's item 8A. It's review the final master development plan, site plan for McDonald's located at 8776 Golden Bear Gateway. Mr. John.
This was not on consent because of the previous discussion we had. It's affected by that amendment. But otherwise, I would put it on consent because we're not even asking for any waivers. And it's, as far as code goes, it looks good, very good plan. It's for McDonald's, it's across the street from where this Wawa we've been talking about, something. Maybe. And like I said, it's, as far as code requirement goes, it meets everything. They're not asking for any waivers. Buildings, masonry, screen, HVAC, everything we typically ask for. That's McDonald's. And staff recommends approval with the conditions listed. Thank you.
Questions or comments from the commission? Seeing no questions or comments, let's go ahead and call for citizen comments in regards to this item on the agenda. Any citizen wishing to make comment are welcome and encouraged to do so. And please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. See no citizen comments. I'd like to ask for a motion in regards to this item on our agenda.
Make a motion for positive recommendation.
This
based
would
on
be an
staff
approval.
comments.
This would be an approval.
Oh, motion for approval.
Second.
Motion for approval from Commissioner Bowman, second by Commissioner Giles. All those in favor signify by saying aye, raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? So approved. Our next item up on the agenda is item 8B, is review the site plan for Hickory Station West, located at 261 West Main Street. Mr. John?
Yes, sir. Yes, West Main Street, some of you may remember this one from the last time it came through. They did get a site plan approved, I believe, like 2020-ish. And it was for two buildings. It was for either side of the drive back to the townhomes. This is in front of Hickory Station off of Division Main Street over there. And they got two commercial out parcels out in the front of those townhomes, and this is for the western lot. Like I said, a couple years ago, they got site plan approval for two buildings, one on either side of that drive on the east and west side. This is for the west lot only, just one of the buildings at this time. And that being said, it's pretty similar to the original layout. Due to the location with the back of the building facing towards Division and towards Main Street, we're asking for like a double front kind of appearance there. But the building is oriented, with the main entrance and all that, it is facing towards the townhomes, opposite of the main road there. But we've asked them to, and they did a pretty good job with it. It's got architectural features to kind of, liven it up or dress it up is what we're looking for. This one's pretty good. Other than that, as far as code goes, looks pretty good. They did not request a waiver. They got screen walls if you look at the elevations for the HVAC on the roof. That's not permitted, so we have a condition in there that they need to revise that elevation to use screen walls, or to use a parallel wall instead of the screen walls. And I did talk to the applicant yesterday. He stopped in, and I mentioned this to him. But as far as our code requirements go, that's pretty much the only issue with this. So if it gets approved, there has to be a condition. I have it in there, it's the last one, rooftop equipment, Chevy screen being made from parapet walls, which is what the code requires. So with that said, we just recommend approval with the conditions listed. Thank you.
All right. Shane, Public Works?
We recommend approval with our staff comments.
Very well. A couple of quick questions. Do we know proposed use for this building?
Yes, professional services, non-medical is what they listed.
Would that include anything retail or whatnot? Or would it be an allowable use in it?
It would be, that zoning would allow it. That's not what they specified on the plans, but the zoning would allow for retail use in there, yes.
Could you sell cigarettes, tobacco, and beer there?
Yeah, that's convenience retail.
So you would not have an opportunity to do any type of sales like that?
I don't know off the top of my head. That's a quick look. I gotta look it up. I don't know
Perfect.
off the top of my head.
That's going to be something that's going to head me towards my next couple of questions real quick. Actually, this one's more towards Public Works. The one of the things that you see there, and actually the development adjacent to this is kind of what prompted a comment from one of our previous mayors that I also served under here at this commission and sat on this commission with him. But it kind of triggered the where they parking for my Super Bowl party comment, which was a staple that we heard amongst this commission fairly often. And that development there behind it particularly has a considerable amount of on-street parking on a regular basis, if I'm not mistaken right there. And with the development of this site, again, if I'm not mistaken, would prevent about 4 or 5 cars from parking where they do on an everyday basis currently. So it is going to have it's not their property, so it doesn't go towards that, but it's going to kind of prompt a comment that I would like to see included in this, should this be approved, is the addition of and/or signage indicating no on-street parking adjacent to this, because it could create an ingress-egress issue into this site with that on-street parking. Please, Todd.
To clarify, they are deriving access from a private drive on a public street.
Okay.
Therefore, they can't install that sort of signage.
On
They
their
don't
own,
own the road.
on their own property?
They could do it on their own property, but
Just out of the public right of way, just something to try to, I mean, we're gonna improve something that people gotta come in and out of, so I guess technically they could probably almost semi-block the entrance in.
I would question the enforceability of that though.
Yeah, just, it's more of potential deterrent than it really is something that I'd like to see any of our officers go down there and enforce. Yellow striping, you know, on the curb, that they probably gonna install something to try to, I mean, it's gonna change the dynamic for the residents back there behind it, certainly, because of the consistency that I see of the private drive parking there on a very regular basis. One of them is that'll be affected, which is one of the most common cars that I see would be unfortunately a Metro police officer that probably lives back in that area. They commonly see his car there, and I love to see the presence of his squad car there. It's kind of a safety mechanism for the neighborhood itself, knowing that the officer is present and lives within the neighborhood most likely. John?
Okay, so to answer your question, convenience retail sales services, if you go to the permitted use table, it is permitted supplementally, but then you go to the supplemental regs and it straight up says, within CTC districts, convenience markets and or gasoline service stations shall not be permitted. So the answer is no.
Very good. Perfect, because that was gonna trigger another comment that I was gonna have, is to make sure that we didn't have any neon signs or anything in these windows facing those neighbors. You know, the nice Christmas lights, as I call them, within the window kind of a thing. Just to make sure that it's as inobtrusive to the neighboring properties as we can possibly do. Answers my question. Commissioner Jones?
So I turn this so I could get the correct direction. There's part of the greenway that's in the back of those condos back there. Okay, where is that supposed to go north and cross Division? And the reason I'm asking is, and it may be on here if it is, and if not, I don't see it. But does that come up the side where they are? Because if it is, they fall within that master greenway plan. It may not be, I don't know.
Runs along the creek on the back, right?
Yeah, but it will eventually come across and connect to the Town Center Greenway.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, that we approved a single-family neighborhood to the west of this, and that's where the Greenway Trail ties into another development?
We're confirming that right now.
Okay.
Was that before I come back?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I
it
think
generally
that-
hooks the creek.
Yeah, I think there was a single-family development that's not come to fruition that is adjacent to this property that's not been developed. I think still has an approval, legal approval, that, actually, I think you were here, because we talked about it, because it was very important that it tied into the Greenway, because it does tie into to what I'm gonna call the south of that development. And then we had a lot of discussion as it comes along behind the church and back over the old bridge to Old Mount Juliet Road and everything.
But yeah, but that was just where the church is in that part there. I don't remember. Maybe it was then.
Yeah, I
Maybe it
think
was.
that development that I'm thinking of is the one that really ties in and
Well, that would
accessible
be
point for the
that would be
Greenway.
on the east side of that then, wouldn't it?
Was it east or west? I think it's to the west.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're saying the development is west of this here,
Yes, sir.
and it would come up on the west
believe that-
side of it. I
believe
understand.
that's correct. Yes,
I
sir. Back
understand.
more towards Circle P.
Toward Fourth,
Yes, sir.
sort of. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If I'm wrong. I think I'm right. Maybe. Further questions, comments? At this time, let's call for citizen comments in regards to this item on the agenda. Any citizens wishing to make comment are welcome and encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. We're okay. I think we're all right. See no citizen comments at this time. I'd like to ask for a motion in regards to this item on our agenda. It's a motion for approval, subject to staff comments, by Commissioner Searcy, second by Commissioner Bowman.
And that comment is a condition or just a comment? They've got to put that parapet in, right?
It's in the condition.
It is in the
Okay,
condition.
okay, all right.
Yes, sir. It's a motion is, Shane, before we Call for a vote,
To
please.
answer the Greenway question, it just hugs the creek, but it never crosses division.
That's right, but it comes into that development that would be to the west, more towards Circle P Farms.
Correct, actually, we're permitting that tomorrow.
There you go.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Motion and a second on the table. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand.
Aye.
Against? Abstentions? So approved. All right. Next item up on our agenda is a recommendation back to the Board of Commissioners to review the annexation, including a plan of services for the Keeleen property located at 3971 Beckwith Road. Ms. Jill, please.
Good evening. This applicant has requested an annexation and rezone of this property on Beckwith Road. It's currently one parcel with approximately 5.21 acres. It's on the east side of Beckwith Road, directly across from Golden Bear Place that we were just discussing. They have 350 feet of road frontage. They currently are in the county, with R1, which is the low density residential zoning. They are requesting both annexation and a rezone to CI, which is consistent with the area and also with the land use, so therefore no land use amendment is needed. And, the property to the due south was just recently annexed in, so they also abut an additional property. So staff, recommends the planning commission make a positive recommendation to the board of commissioners for the annexation, plan of services, and rezone.
Very well. Shane, Public Works, please.
We have no comments.
Very well. That's actually a good idea. Samantha, one question real quick. Since I have tabled this vote, I just realized that 9B is also in relation to this. Would there be any rules against me asking if the commission would allow me to hear 9A and 9B together since I've already tabled 9A? Or should we continue to hear them separate?
If you can just untable it and then hear them both together.
Very well.
Yeah.
Okay. Seeing any objection to me removing 9A from the table at this moment? Seeing no objection at this time, I'd like to untable item 9A, which is a recommendation item back to the Board of Commissioners, which is review the annexation, including plan of services for the Keeleen property located at 3971 Beckwith Road. It is my question at this point in time, back to the commission, if it would be acceptable to hear both items 9A and 9B, which are the same property. One is for annexation, one is for rezone. Would there be any objection to hearing these two items together? Seeing no objection, we'll move on with our agenda. We'll begin with item 9A, is recommendation item back to the Board of Commissioners, review the annexation, including a plan of services for the Keeleen property located at 3971 Beckwith Road. And also item 9B, which is recommendation item back to the Board of Commissioners, is to review the rezone request from Wilson County R1 to Mount Juliet CI for the Keeleen property located at 3971 Beckwith Road. As stated, we are hearing both items 9A and 9B together. Staff comments remain the same. John from planning? Very well. Shane? Comments remain the same? Very well. Questions or comments from the commission? See no questions or comments at this time. I'd like to call for citizen comments. Any citizens wishing to make comment about this item on the agenda, these items on the agenda, welcome. Come to the microphone and state name and address for the record. See no citizen comments at this time. I'm looking for a recommendation in regards to these items on the agenda.
Mr. Chairman,
Please.
public hearing for the annexation.
Very well. That is a correct statement. I keep forgetting them all night, even though they're right here in blue. At this time, I'd like to close our planning commission meeting and open the public hearing. The public hearing is only in regards to item 9A. That's a recommendation item back to the Board of Commissioners. Review the annexation, including a plan of service for the Keeleen property located at 3971 Beckwith Road. Anyone wishing to make comment about that item during the public hearing is welcome, encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Seeing no citizen comments at this time, we'll close our public hearing, reopen our planning commission meeting, and at which time I'm looking for a recommendation in regards to both of these items on our agenda.
Positive recommendation.
Second.
Positive recommendation by Commissioner Giles, a second by Commissioner Armstead. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? So approved. Next item on the agenda also falls underneath a recommendation item back to the Board of Commissioners. It is item 10A, is to review the preliminary master development plan, planned unit development, including the rezone from RS40 and CTC to CTC PUD for Charlie's Place, located at 2250 North Mount Juliet Road, 49, 51, and 53 West Caldwell Street, and 63rd Avenue. John, planning,
Jill Planning.
or Jill, planning, thank you.
You're welcome. This was submitted as a PMDP with a PUD overlay. They currently are requesting a CTC PUD for their zoning. This parcel is going to incorporate the Cellar Station 2 parcel that's currently fronting. That's the portion that fronts Mount Juliet Road. It includes not only the Christmas Place store, but also the 3 retail locations that include Jeremiah's, Dunkin' Donuts, and various other retail stores there. The new portion that is fronting on West Caldwell is currently RS40, so it's loaded to be residential. So they are requesting to rezone the portion on West Caldwell to CTC, and then incorporate not only that, but all of these parcels, the 3 parcels that front North Mount Juliet Road, formerly known as Cellar Station 2, into one overall PUD, and it would be a CTC PUD. It is consistent with the future land use. It does reside within the town center district, which is any properties that are within a half mile of the east-west division corridor right there at the Mount Juliet Road intersection. The intent of this is to propose a transient-oriented type development with proximity to the Music City Star with walkable areas. This will also incorporate an additional 4.86 acres. So the entire development, if approved, would be 9 acres as a whole. The building 1 and building 2 that are being requested are multi-use with residential and commercial. The first floor would be commercial along with 4 floors of residential above. They are also proposing a additional freestanding commercial building that is approximately 3,100 square feet. So the combined total for the new buildings to be incorporated would be over 50,000 square feet. Ordinance 2251 requires a minimum of 10% commercial. It does appear that they do meet this, but part of our conditions are that they are to provide the total calculations of such at the FMDP and site plan level. The setbacks, I'll go over some of the variances for you. Variance number 1, they are requesting a 0-foot front setback due to they want to park the buildings right up against the road and have the parking in the rear of the buildings, which is consistent with the transient-oriented type development. Variance number 2, we typically have a max height of 35 feet of any building in the city. When you get into the town center corridor, it then increases to 50 feet and 4 stories. They are requesting a variance above that to 64 feet and 5 stories. So the height exemption is already there within the town center corridor, but they're requesting even above and beyond that height exemption that's in that corridor. Variance number 3 is the density. Currently under that would be 4.5 units per acre. They are requesting 25 units per acre due to it is apartments. There are 220 units spread among 2 multi-use buildings. And again, as I said, there will be commercial along the bottom floors of those. Variance number 4 is for parking. Currently, it is required for 434 spaces. 375 would be residential. The additional 60 would be commercial. They're requesting the variance to eliminate the 60 required for the commercial because of the shared parking should the entire development be incorporated under the PUD. Variance number 5 is for the 100% masonry. They are requesting a 60-40 split. Currently, we do not know what that secondary material would be. And then the last variance is for the playground. Currently, under our ordinances, it requires 100 square foot of playground per bedroom, which with this would incorporate 30,000 square foot playground, which is a bit excessive. So they are requesting a variance to apply for a 3,500 square foot playground. They are also providing additional amenities in, such as a 2,000 square foot clubhouse, a pool, and so forth, and walking trails throughout. If the commission chooses to give a positive recommendation, we just ask that you include all the conditions that staff has provided to you.
Very well. Thank you. Shane, Public Works, please.
The on-site sewer has been, the routing has been established at this point in time. Full-blown utility plans are not required, but the developer has agreed to work with us as we get to a potential FMDP to work with sewer service of the current residents on Caldwell Street. We envision some changes occurring, but we want to take that into account when the FMDP plans come in. And that would be comment number 18 in our engineering report. As such, the on-site sewer will be gravity, will not be force main, so there will be no grinder systems or on-site or step systems allowed for this development. We're also, with the intensity of use with multifamily or apartments, we're going to require a macerator for the development, or commonly termed as a muffin monster, to make sure it doesn't impact the city sewer system. All of the sewer main will be public, minus any building laterals, so the city will also be able to serve the public sewer needs of the development. We're also requiring written confirmation from the railroad, R.J. Corman, to ensure that any stormwater runoff or parking is allowed within the railroad right-of-way at the time this project goes before the Board of Commissioners. And with that, I'm gonna let Todd talk about the more fun stuff, roads.
Very well. Please, Todd.
Obviously with the development of this size, it's anticipated to generate quite a bit of traffic. We're looking at around 3,863 trips per day, including 292 trips in the PM peak hour. That's the sum of both entering and exiting. As such, the development is requesting a traffic signal at the location of northbound Juliet Road and Caldwell. Quite frankly, I had gone
Excuse
back
me,
and forth.
one second real quick, Todd. I'm sorry to interrupt you. May I ask that anyone in attendance please be respectful and mindful to anybody speaking, whether you like their opinion or don't like their opinion. I'm not going to tolerate snappy comments, and particularly comments directed towards any individual, any staff, or any member here. If I continue to hear it and identify who it is, I am going to ask you to leave the meeting. So please hear me on that. That's a very respectful request. If you choose to make comment tonight, I'm going to expect the same consideration from you when you approach this microphone. So I do ask that of anyone in attendance tonight. I'm very grateful and I appreciate your consideration to that. So Todd, my apologies.
No, thank you, sir. Yes, they're requesting the signal at Caldwell and northbound Juliet Road. Staff is supporting that signal under the grounds that it will provide the safest ingress and egress to the site. However, you guys know what signals on northbound Juliet look like. We're looking at significant queues and a much slower progression speed through the downtown area. So that's something that you'll need to consider. You'll also need to consider that the second exit to the site is along Caldwell and then down to 4th Avenue, where the roadway widths are about 15 feet. I did consider conditioning what they called Sackman neighborhood, but then that neighborhood would not have safe ingress and egress of their own with the railroad. So we can't close that off. We can't prevent vehicles from this development from taking those streets. We are requiring that the commercial section of West Caldwell get widened. 24 feet of pavement, curb and gutter, and a sidewalk along one side due to their constrained right-of-way. That sidewalk may need to cross the street, and if it providing a pedestrian beacon at that location. Yeah. And if you have more specific traffic-related questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Cool. Thank you all. Go ahead and open it up. Questions, comments from the commission at this time? I've got several. Commissioner Frank,
Who wants to
please?
get this
Yeah,
kicked
yeah,
off?
yeah.
Let's get this train wreck on the road. I can't understand, when I first saw this, I was trying to understand why they were putting it together with an already previously approved, site plan, and it's already built to make it 9 acres. But if you take it out, 4.86 acres would require, did you say 10% or is it 5%?
Requires 5 acres and 10% commercial.
If that's the case, it would be 21,000 square feet, because 4.86 acres is 211,000 square feet. Divide that, 10% would be 21,000. So I guess the reason they went to combine it is to drop the amount of commercial that they would need to be able to do it in the area. But if you did it separate, could do it separate, it'd be 50 units per acre. At 5 stories, 64 feet, and the people across the street, from 2 o'clock on, 8 months of the year, be in the shade. I mean, those houses in the front yard would be in the shade. It wouldn't. It doesn't seem to me that this is very, very out of place. This is an old West Caldwell, old 80. There's some of those houses 70, 80 years old, and been here for longer than I have.
125.
I just don't see how this is a very good fit. The other thing, I guess my other question is, if you got a 0 setback, your water and sewer lines are always in the front yard, and if there is no front yard, then you're gonna push the water and sewer lines across the street if they're not already there. Are they already there?
Sewer is gonna route through the site to a manhole that sits in front of Christmas store.
So the front, you don't need the front setback
Yes, sir,
for
the
sewer
only thing
water.
we would
Okay.
consider is like envisioning some tweaking of the existing force main on West Caldwell for the residents there.
Well, the other comment that I had on sharing the parking, the only other reason I knew why the developer might wanna combine this with a pre-existing development was to share the parking. I went down there at 1 o'clock today and there was only 24 vacant spots. And today was Thursday and it was at lunch, it was around lunchtime, about 1 o'clock I went down there. But, the Christmas store's not even open. I mean, you're gonna share the parking lot? I believe the Christmas store parkers will probably share more of this parking lot over by the apartments than they will out of the Christmas store parking lot. I mean, I think it's a big reverse share, and they're already like, 60 short. So there's that. I don't know. I just think it's too much development and too little space myself. My comment.
Please, guys, really, all your comments can be made when you have an opportunity to speak at the microphone. Please do refrain. Further question, Commissioner Bowman, please.
Yeah, kind of a general question about the city that revolves around this. When was it decided that the city of Mount Juliet needed to build its city center around Music City Star? And I come back to that because the research I've done shows that the Music City Star is the least used light rail for any major city in the United States, right? And yet we're putting all of our eggs around that one basket, and it feels like it's one budget cut away from disappearing potentially, right? That type of situation. Who knows what could go on at the state level or where that funding comes from? But I feel like we need to move away from that a little bit. And the other aspect of this is if we put another 220 apartments right in the middle of town with schools that are already very overloaded or becoming more overloaded with relatively little land in this part of town to build additional schools. And I feel like there will be a lot of children in this development, given the fact that up and coming families often choose apartments, especially with the cost of new homes in this area. So I'm just trying to wrap my head around that. I feel like there are probably better areas in the city of Mount Juliet for apartment complexes, maybe on the periphery, where we'll have access to have additional schools. I definitely don't love the height variance. Not a big fan of that, Station North. I think it's a little bit of an eyesore. A couple stories lower on that would have been great. And I feel the same thing about this, 2 to 3 stories and or maybe even townhomes, right? Much, much lower density. So I think the density on this is way off. Those are my comments.
Additional comments at this time?
I'll just say we received the letters from the, some of the folks who, were sending us some positive messages about that. And I appreciate some of their input there. They had some good points, but, I just don't think that that area is sufficient for the number of vehicles in the area, that's, trying to develop there. I think it's totally, too high, as we've been talking about here. So I don't see this as a good fix for what's happening right there in that little area that is, has been historic for a long time.
Please, Commissioner Franklin.
Yeah, to answer your question, I was here when the town center overlay came in, and it was prior to the rail.
Oh, interesting.
And so,
Yep.
the other thing that I'll point out too, since we're walking down memory lane, the insertion of multifamily into commercial was to try to get some commercial, because 25 years ago, there were 2 stoplights here and there was no commercial. And couldn't get commercial, we had Kroger, that was our commercial. And, I don't think it's a problem anymore, and so it just appears that this is, we were trying to leverage commercial with a little bit of, multifamily, seating with multifamily. This looks like the complete opposite. It looks like commercial seating, I mean, it's sort of like they're going and getting another development to put alongside so they can just get some multifamily in here. And I don't believe the mixed use, that was never the intent of putting RM16 or whatever in the mixed use area. It wasn't the intent at the time. It may have changed.
Just a couple of different comments out there. And growing up here, I've always seen this corridor from Caldwell over to 5th, or I guess it's 5th Avenue, as close to a town center or historic district, if we really have one, towards our core center city. There was, I guess back in days before modern technology, the corridor right there where Cloyd's Cumberland Presbyterian is, where Circle P is to this day, that was kind of the watering hole and the stopping place for the train. And understanding it was a popular path of President Andrew Jackson at one point as well. And not that these houses all date that, and the architecture is not like what you see around Cumberland University, for example. But that corridor there that is in highly regard to the city of Lebanon is just something that never developed here within the city of Mount Juliet. And as Commissioner Franklin spoke over there, too, is a member of that town center, and it was the intention was great. Mayor Elam I believe led that charge towards that, and we really wanted to create town center, town square kind of a deal. Never really developed as we had all envisioned, hoped. Mr. Barlow, that used to be with us, would have enjoyed it because it also included a green median in between, a divided median. I know Mr. Barlow was always a fan of that right there. Too, the height is disturbing to me, and the ability to have a homeowner across the street potentially not see daylight, not have a front yard anymore, is a realistic possibility. You can't go any way and say that that's not a realistic possibility that's happening there. Sunlight does the body well, and grass and whatnot as well. One of my other concerns is, as Commissioner Franklin has stated as well, is the parking. This is a major change should the right-of-way not be granted from the railway. I know that it was several months back that we had another proposal in regards to the gas station across Mount Juliet Road up there, and there was major concern by staff whether or not, and there was a lot of doubt that the railway was going to allow that to happen in the right-of-way for the train. So you take away that parking, already underparked, and I mean it's a painful situation should the right-of-way not be granted by the rail over there. That entrance on Mount Juliet Road right there, you know, it's a challenging entrance, and it's always backed up. I'm not convinced that that's the best place for a stoplight or even a decel lane out there as well, and several more comments towards it, but I'll kind of leave them at that point. Further questions, comments? Let's go ahead and ask for representation of this project. Representation, name and address for the record, please.
Mike Rye with Lowe's Design, 2809 Foster Avenue, Nashville. Developers are here as well. So you talked about a lot of things. I'm here to try to answer questions should you have any.
What happens if you don't get the right of way?
Those parking spaces would not be permitted.
Perfect. What are the secondary materials being requested?
Johnny, can you address the materials requested?
Yeah, that'll, Johnny Wagaman, Mission Sellers Development, 3 South 9th Street. Secondary materials would be normal secondary materials like James Harvey board, fiber cement siding, plaster materials that have been approved before.
Nothing vinyl?
No, we wouldn't use vinyl. Don't use vinyl.
Did you, I guess this one, just because of the parking, did you necessarily need the on-street parking to meet your parking requirement, or where did that come from?
Sure, yeah, the genesis of the on-street parking was kind of more with the overall thoughts around this district, the town center district. So if I may digress for a second, part of the genesis of this project was the request for proposal that the BOC put out several months back for potential downtown district on the 8 acres of land that we're standing on right now. In that request, they requested buildings that are 6 stories tall, significant density, large amounts of walkability, and promoting bikeability and walkability within that district. We were a proposer in that, but nothing has, that's still, I guess, in some sort of stage of consideration. So this was always originally our first phase of that, knowing that this was wholly owned land. Our intention was to create a walkable, bikeable district, focusing on the Music City Star, focusing on transit, focusing on walking. The reason I believe that people don't ride the Music City Star is there's just not a lot of density around there. We have a letter of support that should be in your packet from WeGo Transit. We've made the time and effort to reach out to them, speak to them, and they're really excited about the possibility of working further with me, with Mount Juliet, about our project, other projects, and about this district, and about what was in the RFP that the city put out. So that's the reason for the on-street parking was there's a commercial component on the very first floor. So we would think that retailers would want people to be able to come directly to their front door. So that's the idea of the on-street parking. The idea is that all the properties across the street are also in this town center corridor, and many of them are zone CTC and zone commercial already. Many of them are businesses, even though they're historic homes. So it could be seen when we were thinking about this as a large future plan, thinking about this 8 acres, this 9 acre site, the several other vacant pieces of land. This is a large cohesive project that's going to develop over a period of time, and that this finish station was one of the first, really Seller Station and the other things, both sides of the street, were kind of the first things in that. And this is just the next evolution and wave of this downtown district that would be a walkable, bikeable area that would have transit. And so part of our discussions with WeGo is trying to, and we talked to Mayor Hutto and some other people that are along the Music City Star Line, there's a significant movement now of people trying to be able to get in and out of Nashville, to be able to come and use Mount Juliet's amenities, to be able to come here at night and eat dinner and then come back into Nashville. 'Cause that's not a possibility because of the one-way ridership right now. So we're getting that, I can talk more and more about that, but that's my focus with this, is to make this a place that people would be commuting and living here and be able to then walk around to these restaurants and walk around to the other things that will develop in this district and that already exist. There's already some great retail here. So, sorry, I digress. But the history of this development is that this was always a multi-stage development that Mr. Sellers had. This was purchased in 2018 before Vintage Station was even a thing. And so the idea was doing it the right way, which is building the commercial first and then the houses. You always hear about people wanting to build the rooftops, or you gotta have the rooftops to support the commercial. Well, he actually built the commercial first, and then the rooftops are coming second. So that's the idea, at least the history around the site.
You know, I'm not gonna argue with you on what you said, because I'm gonna actually say that I agree with the statements that you made about the Transit Authority and Mayor Hutto and everything else. The only argument I would have that he probably didn't envision, how many feet tall? 64 feet tall, that's non-harmonious with the neighboring properties. I would envision something more harmonious, that meaning i.e. 2-story, 3-story. At height is just excessive. Right there, man. I mean, you know, I get it and I agree. But, you know, a 64-foot building. I mean, the only place we've got 64 feet right now is at the interstate. If I'm not mistaken, is that a correct statement? Jill, is that a correct statement?
Sorry, I was incorrect.
Is the only thing that we have of this potential height at the interstate?
Yes, sir.
So currently we have nothing
No, sir.
outside of an interstate property that is of this height.
Vintage Station, I think, is three, they can't exceed, they didn't request a variance for the, downtown district, so they have the 50-foot height.
At the 50-foot height. Yeah.
Yeah, they are, just as a reminder, as I spoke earlier, in this commercial, or this downtown district, they are automatically allowed the 50 feet high.
Yeah.
And 4 stories.
Yeah.
And there are exemptions for, which I didn't speak to, there are exemptions for those uses specifically to office, retail, educational, multifamily, and hotel.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, that height is what's just killing me. And then as well, when you talk about the length of ownership right there, I gotta ask, why in the world, most PUDs come in with that master plan where we get to see what it is today and how it's gonna phase out and develop. So every time that we get something, we get a new phase or a new addition or whatnot, instead of an overall master plan and a vision for it. Would have been helpful when we initially saw this project, and each one potentially had expressed concerns about that access point with the divided the division in Mount Juliet Road for the railway, and it's just continued to press and push, and without a master plan, and if we've had it since 18, we're just getting bits and pieces instead of presenting it as a master PUD, which is how almost every project gets presented to us, and it's never been given us an opportunity. It's, hey, we think this or we think that, and we all of a sudden we're here, and it's challenging. It's hard, and we gotta. I think one of the things that we have to do as planning as well is you got to make sure it's harmonious with the properties around you, not just allowed but harmonious. I just don't see how 64 feet's harmonious to a one-story residence across the street.
I love where the pool and playground is at, either surrounded by parking lot. Love to see those buildings shifted this way, separated a little, and have that through the middle, create a great living play space for the kids that are going to be using those amenities.
Luke, I'll
Please,
say
please.
something. Judd Sellers, 2229 North Mountain Juliet Road. I've been investing in downtown Mountain Juliet for nearly 20 years. I started my old funeral home, the old white Coach Funeral Home, right at 20 years ago, and we've actually grown, and I bought property around surrounding the old funeral home, and then we moved across the street, built a new funeral home, and did retail. A lot of sweat and blood and tears and everything else that goes with when you like a lot of investment from our standpoint as a family, and we're very, very proud of, not saying what we've done, but what we've done for downtown Mount Juliet, the city of Mount Juliet, and I'm involved. I've had plenty of chances to do different things. I've had a lot of different guys come to me investor-wise. I'm here for the long term. My sons are coming into the business with me. I'm very proud of Mount Juliet, and we're gonna continue to grow, and like I said, just very proud to be part of it. And Luke, I know you was asking a while ago about the Railroad Authority. I talked to those guys this morning via text. They had a meeting today, and I'm sure you remember actually when we did the Duncan building and also the Sackett building, they gave us that approval so we could actually be in the right of way just for the parking. And I'm very certain that we're actually gonna get that right of way the approval for that right of way going forward as well. So hopefully I hear back from those guys in the next couple of days or so, but just want to stand up and say that we're proud of what we've done downtown Mount Juliet, and I think this is something that eventually, it's going to, we're planning this in stages. So just want to stand up and say that.
Thank you.
I did want to pop in
Please.
and address a couple other comments just real quick. First, I want to say thanks to staff for working with us on this, and we are really grateful that we have staff support on every variance on this and across every department. About combining the parcels, I understand the comments about that. It's actually an engineering issue. The stormwater retention of this has to be shared between the two parcels. So we need to bring them together to put the stormwater retention literally as a combination on both property lines, on the east side of the new development area and the west side of the other one. So we'll have to come in with an entirely new stormwater maintenance plan among some other issues. Along with that, if we bring it into the same PUD, planning can speak more on this, it allows just more control over the entire site. But really the entire thing is just necessary because of stormwater. With height, I don't want to harp on this, but again, the thought was that in the RFP, the will of what was asked for was 6 stories, and our thought was that, and I believe in my core, and again, this is as a professional real estate developer, that the downtowns have the highest buildings, not the interstates where people are passing by. So we want to keep the density in these districts where the people actually live. And part of this is that the density in the downtown district then keeps the pressure off the rural areas, the annexations of the farms, the places where there is no infrastructure. This is on a 5-lane road. We're talking about widening the road it's on and putting in a stoplight, not having to build 10,000 feet of sewer and widen, a major road to even make this viable. So that's just our thought. But again, just welcome your comments and your feedback.
My name's Tom Smith. I live at 881 Time Boulevard in Nashville. I've been involved in the real estate development business in Middle Tennessee for 45 years. The comments that are being made today are good comments, and they're reasonable comments. I would like to address a couple of them. And I'd also like to say that from my involvement in development over the years in Metro Nashville and other municipalities, I have never appeared before a planning commission with a development proposal that had the staff approval at the level that we've had for this development across the board from all departments. We got involved here, as John mentioned early on, when there was discussion about the potential development of this parcel. And one of the things that we got excited about was that we believed that there was a desire by Mount Juliet to have and create a downtown district. And so this development, if there was no desire by Mount Juliet to create a downtown district, then a lot of your concerns, I think, are very valid. But if there is, in fact, a desire to create a downtown district going forward, which I believe the CTC zoning allows, as was mentioned, the adjoining parcels and the parcels across the street that are single-family homes and businesses in older homes are also part of the CTC district, and they have the ability to develop their property in the same manner, with the same height and other issues. One of the things that we are, trying to do is to jumpstart and start creating the downtown district. The village, the Station North property was early on. Mr. Sellers has been involved, as he mentioned, with really jumpstarting and creating a downtown Mount Juliet. I have a home here on Old Hickory Lake. I've been driving through Mount Juliet for 30 years. I've been driving down Mount Juliet Road since it was a 2-lane road. And so clearly, the development at Providence is wonderful and wonderful for the city. The development at Mount Juliet Road and Lebanon Road is wonderful and has been excellent for the city. But there's always been sort of, where is Mount Juliet? Where is downtown Mount Juliet? And so that's really what we sought to create here. While it's true that the Music City Star ridership is wanting, you have to have people that live within proximity. The people that will live here are probably not so much young families as young professionals, some of whom may work in downtown Nashville and find this a better place to live. And so you have to have the number of folks around to ride the Music City Star. So it's sort of a chicken and an egg thing. All I wanted to say was to thank you for the opportunity to present this development and thank the staff of Mount Juliet for their support of this development. And just to say that this is really the first of what I believe is an opportunity to create a downtown Mount Juliet district. You've already got the CTC zoning in place and the items there. And we're sort of the first. So you know what they say about that. But we just appreciate the consideration for that. And to remember that this is not just one development in what is now, Mount Juliet Road and Caldwell, but the beginning of what potentially could be a very exciting time for creating a true downtown Mount Juliet district. Thank you.
I'm not gonna argue with you again, but you're also putting 474, 434, whatever the parking is, cars on a 1-lane road.
Well, I think we're increasing the size. I'll let my engineer speak.
I'm just saying, if you go the other way, there's no denying that one. The engineer can say whatever he wants to.
Well, we have, sure, I'd be happy to speak on that, actually. We've done a traffic study and a parking study in which staff has reviewed, and we have staff support on that parking variance as well. We've done the support between mixed use and the commercial, and it supports this use.
Are you aware that West Caldwell is potentially barely wide enough to be 1 lane?
I believe staff has required us to widen that street between 3rd and Mount Juliet Road. Our original position, as you see on our site.
No. West Caldwell heading west. Because come out of your site, West Caldwell goes north, then it turns back west, and then it turns back south and eventually connects over to Division. Or it doesn't connect to Division, you turn right on 4th, and then you make the connection right there.
Yes, sir.
Each one of those aren't underneath what we would call our current road standards. So for 2 cars to pass, one puts its tires in the grass.
Yes,
And
sir.
so now 434 cars put their tires in the grass.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm aware. We actually had a call with our traffic engineer yesterday specifically talking about this because we're also proposing putting a left turn deceleration lane on West Division Street, turning on the 4th, which was a surprise to me, frankly, when I was reviewing it.
I would agree with that.
The amount of traffic that they're proposing going in that area is not a lot, frankly.
If it warranted a decel lane, it would be,
What's
right?
that?
I said if it warrants a decel lane, it would be, right?
It's right on the cusp, so we figured we would leave it in there. Part of this is, we're also, again, our intention on this was to follow staff's directions on everything and achieve staff support on every line item. So that was one of those things where she's recommended that the traffic engineer recommended that we do that, so we did that. I would say traditionally in areas where one of our partners doesn't have a stake in the community, that would be the kind of thing that we would, that somebody would wait to be a recommendation item from the city, but we just went ahead and put that in immediately, so.
Just to confirm, there will be a new stoplight at Sprouts. There will be a stoplight at Division. There will be a stoplight at West Caldwell, and there will be a stoplight at Kurt within 3/4 of a mile.
And a
give
train
or-
track.
That,
And The train
occasionally.
crossing.
Well, yeah, yes, occasionally, train crossing. Okay, I just wanted to fully square that away and get that out there for the record.
Other questions, comments? Perfect. Thank you, guys. This time, let's call for citizen comments. Any citizens wishing to make comment are welcome, encouraged to do so. And please come to the microphone and name and address for the record. Please.
Good evening, Chairman Winchester and Commissioners. My name is Bob Heatherly. I've been in Mount Juliet since 1977. I've watched Mount Juliet grow from that one grocery store to that one gas station that was on the interstate. And I bought a place in what was considered at the time, and I hope still is, the historic part of Mount Juliet. Now, I've listened to all these people speak, but they don't have to live where I do. And if you'll take a look at my neighbors here with a show of hands, you'll see that we are very well represented here, and nobody wants this development where it's coming in at. I have preliminary plans here that I would be happy to share with anybody here in the room. And this preliminary set of plans is one of the reasons that my residents and my neighbors are here tonight. So with that being said, I live at 63 West Caldwell Street, which is back in the woods, which I'm not going to necessarily have that traffic in my front yard unless they try to bring that West Caldwell across my front yard, which had been talked about in the past.
May I ask you one question real quick?
Yes, sir.
All right, just because I do say that we limit comments to 3 minutes or less.
Yes,
Are you speaking on behalf of everybody that raised their hand, or are you speaking on behalf of yourself individually at this
I'm
moment?
speaking on behalf of myself.
Okay, perfect. That's what I wanted to know. So just a reminder, we try to keep our comments to 3 minutes or less.
Yes, sir.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Oh, you have more time, Mr. Heatherly. I was just gonna allow you more time than 3 minutes if you're speaking on behalf of the bulk.
I appreciate it, but we've got plenty of people.
Perfect, thank you, Mr. Heatherly.
Hello, my name is Robin Eakes. I live at 56 West Caldwell, which is exactly across from where Mr. Sellers wants to put his proposed plan. First of all, I have a couple of questions for y'all. Number one, on the preliminary plan that we got, it states that he has 9 acres. Okay? The acreage that he's wanting to put these apartments on is only 4.86 acres. Where is he getting the 9 acres at, other than adding it to Charlie's place? And there is no road directly from West Caldwell to Charlie's place. There is a pond back there. My next question is, I've been there 41 years, so I know what goes on that street. I know everybody's name and I know everybody's business. So, we have always had to go, on my side of the street is started, if you were going to go commercial, the house beside you had to go commercial. Now, all of a sudden, we're jumping. We have 2 residential places. Number 47 is shown on the map as commercial. It is not commercial. Number 47 is a residential. Number 56, 3rd Avenue on the corner, is residential. So we're going to bring this monstrosity into our neighborhood and set it between 2 residential places. 60 is right beside 56 3rd Avenue. That's residential. This is almost, excuse me, but as stupid as when he wanted to put the hotel over there. Well, I don't know which is worse. We live there. I would love to see the rest of my years there. I mean, I'm not against progress, but it's 5 or 6 story building with how many apartments was it?
230, 254?
220.
220, sorry.
How many?
220.
220.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Well, I quickly round that.
Thank you.
Anyways, this is what I would like to say, because I'm totally, obviously, against this. And, you know, I think that he should have had a little consideration to maybe speak to the neighbors and tell us what was going on. Well, we didn't get that courtesy, but I'm giving him the courtesy to tell him how we feel. Thank you.
Thank you. Please.
Howdy, I'm Bobby Colson, 78 West Caldwell Street. I appreciate Mr. Engineer, Mr. Town Boulevard, Mr. Sellers, talking about they've been driving down Matthews Road since it was 2-lane. Well, I've been there 66 years. I was born there in 1959 on West Caldwell, been there ever since. And I've been in a bunch of planning, not near as many as you, because it's your job. But I am a broker and an auctioneer, and I've been in a bunch of planning commission meetings over the years. If I'd have paid better attention to English class, I'm probably a little more eloquent. And Mr. Coates was I'm talking about Mr. Coates, he was my shop teacher in 8th grade. So I don't hear about investment. I've invested my whole life right here on West Caldwell, and I appreciate y'all having a head full of common sense. Thank you.
Thank you. 69. Any additional citizen comments at this time? Please.
Richard Stackenwell, I live at 80 West Caldwell, and I apologize for not knowing as many details about this as I should, but my neighbor Faylene just told me about it 2 weeks ago, so I've had limited access to information. But I think, and I appreciate everything Mr. Sellers has done for the city. I appreciate the comments from the commission. You guys have hit on most of the points that I wanted to address. But I have some concerns about the concept of a downtown Mount Juliet being driven by individual investors, developers. I would like to see more direction from the city on what the city would like to see happen, how they would like it developed with community input. You know, it's our community, and I would like it to benefit us as a community, and not just be growth for the sake of growth if there's no positive for the people that are already there. So I think you guys already hit on the fact that this is really shoehorned in, and there's plenty of open space around the city for something like this to go. But I worry about 600 plus people in that amount of space on that road where two cars cannot pass each other, not just on the straight, but when you get to the corners, going between West Caldwell, 3rd, those areas, two cars can't pass each other when you're making a right or left-hand turn. So it's a lot of patience now to drive it. So I'm concerned about, it's nice if they widen the road up to 3rd, but unless you do the whole thing out to Division, it's pointless. And then if you do get people out to Division, next thing it's gonna be, we need a stoplight there because people are gonna wanna turn left. And I go that way to work a lot of times in the morning. It's already difficult to get out when there's a lot of school traffic. So it just seems like there's no way I can see this working well. And you mentioned about the number of stoplights.
You have 1 minute.
And I'm concerned about so many stoplights and train tracks, not just the convenience of it, but the safety of it. People getting trapped on those tracks. It's sitting in the intersection, you know, somebody always tries to push the red light too far. But I'd also, and maybe there is, and I apologize if there is and I haven't seen it, I'd like to see more of a comprehensive study that involves the impact on the city services, the police, fire, people like that. Schools, you already mentioned schools, you have the crowding. It's a lot, and I don't know if it's all been taken into consideration. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Zach Atwood, I reside at 89 1966. I was completely devastated to hear O's apartment complex in our nice, quiet, peaceful neighborhood. I always said if you want to build something in Mount Juliet, do something nice. Putting 400 people on less than 5 acres in our existing neighborhood would not be nice to us, and I'm sure those people wouldn't be happy either once they got in there. I just wanted to state my opinion tonight, and I hope you can turn this down on all counts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
They say they want to create a downtown.
Name and address for the record, real quick.
Sorry. Karen Quinn, 57 3rd Avenue North. This house has been there 125 years. So when you talk about this quaint, nice little neighborhood, my house is the cornerstone of that. Professor Caldwell lived in it. There were 3 people on that street, Jim Joe Alley. My house was that Allie Gibson house. And what is being proposed, what little history is left in Mount Juliet is in this original neighborhood. This is the original neighborhood in Mount Juliet. And there are, in my house, he wants to talk about blood, sweat, and tears. When I got a hold of that house, I had to literally rip almost everything out of it. And it was my lifeblood that went into that house. And every penny I had. So if he wants to talk about his life blood going into this development, I know what that feels like because that's what I put into this house. And I don't want to see it destroyed, but it will be destroyed if this monstrosity is put in the middle of this little neighborhood. Who could have ever imagined such a horrific thing happening in such a small little neighborhood? And this is a neighborhood, it's not a residential section where people don't know each other. We all know each other. We are real neighbors. And to have something that destructive to come in and hurt every single one of us, and some of us a lot more than others, but I would certainly be hurt tremendously by this. And nobody came and knocked on my 125-year-old door and said, can we put 4 stories down here, like right there in your face practically? No, nobody asked any of us or anybody that I've talked to how we felt about it. And we've obviously been there a long time, a lot longer than Mr. Sellers has been there. And we all want to stay there, and we want to be neighbors. We don't want this will not create what he says one of the developers wants to create is a real downtown Mount Juliet by destroying the original neighborhood in Mount Juliet, because that's what it actually would do. So wipe us all out and create your downtown Mount Juliet, because that's what you'll have to do.
Thank you. Any additional citizen comments at this time? Oh, please. Come- You got it. You got it.
My name is William Hayes Beasley Jr., Butterworth's veteran. My neighbors. I moved here from Smith County.
Address. Give me that address.
Pardon?
Give me your address real quick.
I didn't hear you.
Your address?
I moved here from Smith County in 90 to 101 West Caldwell. I have seen this neighborhood change a great deal. When I moved here, a lot of the front porches looked like Sanford and Son. as Karen just said, you know, we put a lot of work into the neighborhood and made it a better place. And I've noticed in the past few years, the volume of traffic has picked up tremendously from North Mount Juliet Road for the shortcut. So you add the volume of traffic that's going to come with the development, it's going to be astronomical. And even on my end, there are 11 children from 4th Avenue to the end of West Caldwell. 11. I saw one bolt out in the middle of the street the other day, and his mother had her back turned. Man, she freaked out. She ran, got the child. That could happen at any time, and with the cemetery, it has an exit, but the gate stays open all the time, and that creates, if we can't control it now, can we control it later after the development? So that's about all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And thank you.
Yes, sir.
I'm Paul Rancorn. I live at 96 West Caldwell. I've got several things I'd like to say. One, it really bothered me that you're gonna have to put a red light at Mount Juliet Road in West Caldwell. That bothers me. Too close to the other red light. The second thing, it really bothers me the height of the structures. That really bothers me. Everybody cuts through from Mount Juliet Road all the way down West Caldwell and they either go out 4th Avenue or they go out to the cemetery. That happens all day long. Also, the lanes are in front of my house. I've got 13 foot. That's all I got in front of my house. Technically, my mailbox is on my property. My mailbox. Now I realize there's a right of way. That means you're gonna have to buy everything. Somebody's gonna have to come in there and condemn it or do something to get enough room to get out. Cause you're gonna have to be able to get out at the cemetery, 4th Avenue, and up the other street. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Hello. Love y'all. I'm Mike Larson. I live at 50 West Caldwell. I've been in Mount Juliet 65 years. This is one beautiful town at one time. The traffic out here is unremarkable, unbelievable. And we live right there by that railroad crossing. And you know how terrible that is from 6 to 9 to 30 minutes every time the train comes by. So it backs up traffic all day long and all evening. So I feel sorry for the police officers. The fire department's there, they can get through there. You can't get through there, you know, sometimes. But we do not need this new development. We don't have no place for the water to go. We don't have no parking. And Mount Juliet has changed from good to the worse, I believe. I mean, this used to be a nice, quiet town. We've got too much criminal activity going on now. The bigger we get, the worse we get. And I just wanted to let y'all know this was a beautiful town, and we can't ruin it. We need to be a small little town. We're, you know, we're just a small Mount Juliet, but we're getting too big for our shoes, as they say. You know, but I just want to let you know that God's with us.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Terry Boyles. I live at 64 West Caldwell Street on the corner of West Caldwell and West Caldwell. This is really nice. But anyway, start off with the traffic through there. Right now, there's already been a bus and a tractor trailer had to be hauled off backwards off of West Caldwell Street towards Mount Juliet Road because they got stuck. And every time somebody comes from West Caldwell going west to 3rd Avenue North, West Caldwell Street. That's the corner right there. What you have to do, you can't stop the stop sign and let another car come through. I don't know if everybody's driven that or not, but I've driven it more than once, and what do? Going south on West Caldwell Street, used to be 3rd Avenue North, I would stop, like most of us, like the whole neighborhood does, we stop and let that person at the stop sign come through. Otherwise, you can't get through there. I have been there since 1996, and I have seen a lot of changes, and I got a big list, but I really don't have much time to do that. So, besides the narrow roads on 4th Avenue, you know, some of the neighbors put up some beautiful mailboxes on 4th Avenue. Well, you can't let one car go by and only 2 wheels get off the road. If you do, you're gonna be in the ditch, and the other car's still gonna be driving with their right side of their vehicle. It's gonna be off in the grass too. So there's no one way. It's a one-way street. We use it for both ways. With the expansion of apartments, the vandalism will rise. There's no question about that. It happens everywhere, in every little town, every big town. Just look at Hickory Hollow. I mean, it's abandoned now, basically. And as a business owner, for the businesses that will be underneath the 4 floors of apartments, there's no exposure. It's going to be as you can see, the traffic will be, it'll be difficult for a business to survive.
1 minute.
And there won't be any good views from the neighbors on the north side of West Caldwell Street. The kids will have, the schools will be overcrowded so much that they'll be riding for at least an hour to an hour and a half, one way to school and one way back. And I got more time, I got more things to say, but I'm running out of time, so y'all have a great evening.
Thank you.
And I hope y'all use your conscience to make this final decision.
Thank you.
My name is Donald Eakes. I lived at 56 West Caldwell. I've lived in Mount Juliet all my life. I'm the 4th generation that lived here. I lived there for 41 years. I laid a 100-foot tape across the road. I'm being fair. I live directly across the road where they want to put these 2 5-story buildings. And was it Bobby was talking about, you probably wouldn't see the sun. There's literally, you're not joking. It'd be about 100 feet from my front step. And then they're talking about putting parking on the roads. Who's gonna pay for the parking on the road and the widening of the road? And where's it gonna come off of? It's gonna come off theirs, or you're gonna take it from across the street? They haven't met any of them. They got variances on everything. They can't up and up meet standards on anything. You know, going out or going west, it's 12 foot 8 inches on 4th Avenue. Who's gonna pay to put this extra turning lane in on the Division? And where's the property coming from? Who's paying for the traffic light? Taxpayer. And the majority of those houses on the other side of the road from that are residential. There's only 2 that's not. So, you know, I don't know. All I can do is ask y'all, I appreciate you letting me speak.
sir.
My name is Annalisa Gray. I live at 52 West Caldwell Street. Unlike a lot of my neighbors, I'm a new kid on the block. But even in the short time that I've been here, I've noticed that the traffic, I'm not going to get into it a lot because there is an issue with the traffic. And coming from Nashville, every time my street was widened, it didn't take long for that widening of the street to get congested again. And I can see that happening here with the 5-story apartment building with retail. The other thing is that when there are community events that go on and Mount Juliet Road is blocked, people aren't thinking about people are coming off of Division Street and coming up West Caldwell Street. West Caldwell is serving as that shortcut through. Just getting out of Mount Juliet to go into work is already taking like 30 minutes just for me to get from my house to the interstate to get into Nashville. So I just think when you take all this into consideration, I mean, right now I'm not getting the full sun effect. So you can just imagine, I'm right across the street from it. So you can just imagine that with 5 stories, I'm completely blocked from the sun as well. So I just thank you for your consideration. Give me a chance to speak on it.
Thank you.
My name is Vince King, live at 24 4th Avenue. Also own property on 3rd Avenue at Dead Ends, which will be right across the street from where they propose to exit these apartments. I'm not gonna get into everything that's already been said. I appreciate the commission. I appreciate the comments that were made. I think you're on the right track for sure. One thing that I wanted to mention was neighborhood commercial. I don't think that applies to a 5-story building with commercial, 220 apartments. If you look at the future plan of this area, that's exactly what it says. Neighborhood commercial. I don't think it applies to what they want to do. A 0 front lot. I don't see how that's gonna happen. They gotta widen that street. It's 15 feet. They gotta put 8 feet on their side, not these people's property, their side. Another 8-foot parking, another 7 foot for a sidewalk in front of this proposed commercial site. I don't see how it's gonna fit. I don't know who calculated all that, but I don't see it fitting. The other thing is you got a 10-foot setback on the sides. You got residential property on each side of this place. Residential, people that have been living there, spent their money, and don't wanna be bothered. 10 feet, that's not much. Imagine that right outside your window. 25 units an acre doesn't make sense to me. And I'm gonna briefly say this. I'm very disappointed in the staff. These variances are ridiculous. And to support this, I don't know where it's coming from. I really wonder where it's coming from, to be honest with you. I don't think it's coming from the staff. I think it's coming from up above. So, again, no offense, but I was very disappointed when I saw all of this stuff, staff support, especially when it comes to the street that I live on. Someone said it's 12 foot wide. It is. I measured it. I live there. I see what goes on there. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. I can get out of this town tomorrow. I can do that. These people can't. They put their whole life into where they're living. And to come in and destroy it for money, not for Mount Juliet, for money. It's always, everything's driven by money. are sitting right here. Sir, if you wanna build a town center, right here it is. Buy it from the city and build what you want to. You're not gonna interfere with the residences. We would appreciate it. That's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Mr. Chairman, can I add one
Please,
comment?
please.
I'd like to address, and I understand there's a lot of emotion attached to the submittal. That's not uncommon. I've been doing this for 35 years. I've seen a lot. But as a former staff member of the city of Lebanon, and having worked a good deal with the city of Lebanon, or city of Mount Juliet staff, sorry. You've got a good staff as I've ever seen. Their job is without prejudice to pursue city policy, which is sometimes open perhaps to interpretation, especially when we talk about land use plans. So I understand the emotion behind this, but I just felt like it was important to say that it don't get any better than the staff you got.
Amen. Any additional citizen comments at this time? Perfect. With that being said, I'm looking for a recommendation in regards to this item on our agenda.
I would like to make a negative recommendation to the BOC based upon variances for height and density.
Second.
It's a motion from Commissioner Bowman and a second from Commissioner Armstead. As a negative recommendation, all those in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? No, one abstention. Commissioner Giles. That is a negative recommendation. All right. Next item up on our agenda is also a recommendation item back to the Board of Commissioners. It is to review the annexation, including a plan of services for courtyards at McFarland, located at 5025 Old Lebanon Dirt Road. Just a second before I call on you, Mr. John, we'll give the attendees a moment to exit. All right, Mr. John.
Sure thing. Courtyards in McFarland has had a storied past. I'll kind of give some history here. So it came in initially, what you have in front of you is basically the first iteration of this plan that you've seen.
I'm going to pause you real quick. Tell us about annexation, and then let's get over to the next one.
Okay, yeah.
Go where you're going. I feel where you're going.
All guilty. Okay, yeah, so the annexation, plan of services, staff does recommend approval.
Very well. Shane, anything?
No comments.
Very well. Any questions or comments from the commission in regards to this item on our agenda? Just the annexation of the property. See no questions at this time. Let's call for citizen comments in regards to this item on the agenda. Any citizens wishing to make comment? Please go to the microphone, name and address for the record. Seeing no citizen comments at this time, let me go ahead and mark for the record that Commissioner Armstead has stepped away momentarily. just because we have no camera to document that from Mr. Gutierrez. With that being said, I'm looking for a recommendation in regards to this item on the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, the public hearing.
Ah, I'll close the commission, planning commission meeting and open a public hearing. Public hearings in regards to item 11A, which is review the annexation, including a plan of services for courtyard at McFarland, located at 5025 Old Lebanon Dirt Road. Anyone wishing to make comment during the public hearing is welcome, encouraged to do so. Please come to the microphone and name and address for the record. See no citizen comments at this time. We'll close the public hearing, reopen planning commission meeting, at which time I'm looking for a recommendation in regards to this item on the agenda. I'll make a motion for a positive recommendation. It's a motion, second by Commissioner Franklin. All those in favor, signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? It is so approved. Commissioner Giles, against, for the record. You need to take a quick?
I'm not going to miss this next one.
Yep. Let's,
I'm going to have to cross my legs.
no.
I'm not going to miss this one.
Any objection to a quick 5-minute recess? We'll be quick, we promise. Please, thank you guys for the short recess. We will re-adjourn at 9:02 p.m. Thank you guys for the quick break. At this time, we'll be hearing our next item up on the agenda is item 11B. It is a recommendation item back to the Board of Commissioners. It is to review the preliminary master development plan, PUD, with the rezone from R1 to RM8 PUD and RS40 PUD for courtyards at McFarland. Located at 5025 Old Lebanon Dirt Road. Now, Mr. John, floor is yours, sir.
Now it's time. Okay, I'm gonna calculate it quick because I think the applicant, well, I know the applicant has a presentation. Long history on this, the big holdup was, so this is the plan that you, basically the plan you saw initially, with commercial and mixed use. And that was the initial plan. Through some circumstances, we had the previous iteration of this, had the parkland. That was maybe a discussion with the city and parkland, giving land to the city or selling land to the city and developing a park. That idea required a land use amendment because you no longer had a mixed-use commercial PUD. The land use is mixed use here. And so the applicant had proceeded through with a high-density residential land use request, which did not get approved by the way it made it to the Board of Commissioners. I believe it was sponsored, I can't remember all the history on it, but it was never approved. So now we're back here with the original plan, which does not require a land use amendment. The land use plan here is commercial mixed use for mixed use. And here we have a 55-plus age-restricted mixed-use PUD with 125 units. There may be one error in the staff report that says 124, but it's 125 age-restricted units, and then a substantial chunk of commercial, the 25% that is required of CMU is fully met here, with several buildings proposed on this parcel. There isn't a lot of detail at this point as to what is going to go in there. But they do have shown it's the total square footage of commercial is 41,000 square feet. So, no land use amendment. It's been annexed, so it's been defaulted to RS20 until this request here is heard and perhaps approved. And with that, I will go over the biggest issue, or the biggest, not issue, but the biggest thing to talk about here, I think, on my end would be the waiver requests that they're asking for here. And I believe I've talked about these several times now, but I don't think anything's changed in our support of them. So, if you guys have any questions about it, I gotta mention one of the waiver requests is incorrect in the plan here. For the single family, the single family units that are in here, the correct rear setback for the front loaded single family. Let me finish. Let me get this done. The for the single family, we got rear, I crossed it out, and they're asking for 17 feet. That stays the same. Alley loaded single family in your report, I believe, I have in the report at 17 feet for the rear setback. They're actually asking for 5. So on the single family alley loaded, you're granting a waiver for both, which is what I brought up at the beginning. But for the single family front loaded, it's 17 feet for the rear setback they're asking for, and for the alley loaded, they're asking for a 5-foot rear setback. So that is the actual request here for the rear setbacks on those two. Everything else in the staff report would be correct. There's been a lot of iterations of this, so yeah, one of them. But as far, if you have any questions on the waivers, let us know, or let me know. But we are going to recommend approval of all of this now with the conditions, or we'll recommend positive recommendations to the Board of Commissioners with the conditions in the report. And of course, the planning commission's input on the waivers. And that's all I'll say. It's for a mixed use PUD. The nuts and bolts pieces are in place now. Looks good.
Shane, Public Works.
The only consideration that we're willing to, this is more about site sewer. The applicant has requested that we analyze public sewer within private alleys at FMDP. We typically do not grant that request due to the fact that alleys are not public streets, and sometimes the alignment of the sewer line could interfere or get close enough to the house where you could compromise the foundation. As the applicant is not required to have 90% sewer plans complete, we are willing to address that at FMDP if we do get there. It was made known to the applicant that in all likelihood we would not allow public sewer in the alleys, but we do want to give them the chance to show us what they can present before we ultimately make that decision, since sewer plans are not finalized at this point in the process. That being said, all the sewer will be public for the neighborhood, and with the accessibility of gravity sewer nearby, again, there will be no on-site grinders or step systems allowed for this development. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Todd, because there's a lot more fun on the roadway side.
Todd, please.
Yeah, so this lot will provide connection to both Old Lebanon Dirt Road and Division Street. Their traffic study did indicate that there would be adequate capacity on Old Lebanon Dirt Road with improvements that are about to happen as part of the Farland Farms. It's not just going to be the one-lane approach going there to North Montjulia Road. That's going to get wide. The big public good that this development is providing is eliminating some of those roadside hazards on Division Street. I know Commissioner Franklin, you brought up annexing this road before. We are proposing that we do that as part of this development. 120 days before they mobilize, we will initiate the annexation process. They will widen Division Street, 12-foot lanes, 4-foot shoulders, and a 3-to-1 maximum, 4-to-1 maximum slope with nothing in the clear zone. That's going to get rid of a bulk of the roadway departure crashes on Division Street in that area. Quite frankly, it's going to be huge.
Just in that, just in here or further down in either direction?
They are just going to do that widening along their frontage. However, their frontage is a
big
cluster for crashes, well, the portion between their frontage and Old Lebanon Dirt Road, which is where our current city limits are, there's only been a few crashes. So,
Good. Please, Shane.
One thing I want to mention with the widening and the work on East Division Street, any of the utilities that have to be required as part of the road improvements that we've conditioned for them to do will be done at their expense in compliant with the city's widening of Division Street. So we'll be taking care of this. A little foresight is to go ahead and take care of what utilities we can at that point, so we're not doing double work and double cost.
Very well. Any initial questions or any initial questions, comments from the commission? Please, Commissioner Jones.
So on the rear, the alley loaded single family 5 feet from the lot line, right? So I'm trying to see on the plan which one that is. So where is the garage in relationship? Is that like an L shape?
No, it'd be
I mean, well, you can't have a driveway 5 feet.
There's no parking and driveways in this, right?
Okay,
In
is
this
it, where is
community.
it showing that? I'm trying to.
They said no parking and drive.
Well, what is alley?
So,
Want to ask for representation?
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I do.
Alley loaded, doesn't that mean you drive parking?
You go ahead and ask for representation of this project. Name and address for the record, please.
Yes.
Got a question real quick.
Jay Easter with Reagan Smith, 315 Woodland Street, Nashville, Tennessee.
Thank you. Commissioner Giles, you want
So-
to ask that again?
If it's alley loaded, does that mean cars go down it?
Yes, sir.
no street parking. Yep, no street.
Yes, sir. So the purpose of the 5-foot setback is that there's a 5-foot driveway
it's in this-
that prevents the owner from parking behind the garage.
Okay, so they have to utilize their garage
They
for
have to
parking,
utilize
period.
Period.
Or we would never be able to do that.
Yeah, but there's also, there are also bylaws or covenants with the HOA that prevent overnight parking in any driveway. So the residents are required to store their cars in their garages.
So you don't think somebody will park horizontal to
That's
it?
the purpose of the 5 feet, it's not possible.
Okay.
If you did 7, 8, or you did some odd number like 10, somebody would think it would be suitable for parallel parking.
Sure, a
So-
motorcycle probably would.
When we set these up, they're either 5 or 20.
I mean, seriously. So how wide is the street though, the alley?
22 feet wide.
Okay. We'll bet that up for emergency services. And I'm gonna have a couple more minutes. Whenever it's time.
Do you want to tell us
I think
about
it would be helpful
yeah,
at least
tell us
to
about
have
it a
a
little
master
bit.
plan up
Sure.
and answer questions. I don't, in the essence of, in respect of everyone's time, I don't have to go through everything. I'm happy to answer your questions, but I think it would be helpful to have
Sure.
a master plan up.
Please.
I just have one question.
Please, Commissioner Armstead, real quick.
The section on the variances and waivers concerning 5.103A, where it says this request is due to the shared side courtyards of the home. With whom are they sharing?
They're not, each house has let's see if I can make sure, yeah. Each house has an individual courtyard.
I saw
So,
that in the
they're-
plan, but it says
They're not shared. They're not shared. The courtyard, the fence goes from home to home, and then this home would have this courtyard and so on down through there, as well as with the townhomes. The townhomes have outdoor courtyard space as well.
And there are no windows from the opposing home looking into the courtyard, correct?
There are no windows from
Yeah.
this house looking into the private courtyard.
All right.
This is the only private outdoor space the home has. Everything else around the house and even in the front of the house is common ground and maintained by the HOA. That's the only space outside the residents themselves. That's the only space outside the residents themselves have to maintained.
I just didn't like that shared one.
I appreciate that.
Please, floor is yours.
Oh, okay. So courtyards in McFarland, big thing was to talk about the courtyards on this slide. Everyone knows where we're located. We no longer have a land use plan amendment required. We are in compliance with the land use plan. We are seeking a CMU PUD. This is our existing site. We do have an existing cemetery on site and existing wetlands on site. Below down here, you'll see where we overlaid the McFarland Farms layout. That's very important when we start looking at our points of connection. I'm gonna go fairly fast since half of y'all have been through this last month. This is the usage breakdown. There's 27.74 acres that is in the residential portion. The road improvements along East Division that we were just speaking of that were so important, we're dedicating the full right-of-way needed on our side, which totals 2.34 acres to the city. As well as staff pointed out, we're relocating utilities to be in compliance with the future road plan and doing the road improvements staff has required for us. The commercial portion which used to be the park. I got jumped so far. Used to be parkland. Is located right here. It's 9.26 acres, which is 25% of the site. It does not include, that acreage does not include the cemetery. The cemetery will be maintained by the HOA, but the calculation for the cemetery is outside of the open space requirement and outside of the commercial requirement. This is the master plan. This is the former parkland, which is now the original commercial development with the cemetery behind it, the wet detention retention pond that is shared between the two developments. This road is our new connection between East Division and Old Lebanon Dirt Road. We have 3 different home products in here. The townhomes, alley loaded facing Old Lebanon Dirt Road and facing East Division. Alley loaded single family detached homes facing the interior drive. It does contain on-street parking for visitors that stubs to the adjacent property. And then in the larger, I think it's line of Epcon's larger products, which face the new street that will be built. This side of the road, these will have driveway access onto the new street. These 2 homes, as conditioned by staff, will be accessed by the alley or private drive, so they will not have driveway cuts on the new street. One of the conditions of staff was that the driveway cuts only be on one side of the road. We have our own amenity. Our amenity is located right here with the clubhouse, pickleball courts, swimming pool, the mail kiosk, and an outdoor gathering area. This is a breakdown of the different streets, so you can see our new public road. The alleys are in purple. There's a private drive in front of all the townhomes, which is one way but provides visitor parking and on-street parking in front of the townhomes. None of these homes have access from the rear except from the garage. So it was very important for us to be able to provide front door parking to the townhomes and to the single family detached. This is the pedestrian circulation. The red doesn't show up very well, but we have a very intricate and every pedestrian circulation where everything is connected. Staff has required us, and we agreed to pull the sidewalk along East Division outside of the right-of-way line, so it is in our open space, but it will have a public egress easement, so it will be a public sidewalk. We are building new sidewalk along Old Lebanon Dirt Road for the length of our property. This highlights the open space. All the green is the open space throughout the entire development. Totals 12.9 acres or 37.8% of the site. This is a blow up of the amenity, so you can see it in a little bit more detail with our clubhouse, our swimming pool, pickleball courts, outdoor gathering, mail kiosk, parking, and private drive. The photos are representative images of other Epcon's amenity centers, so you can see the level of detail they put into their projects and how nice the amenities are. This helps describe the buffers. We will be buffering the commercial from the adjacent property line, from adjacent property here, as well as from our residential property. We'll have street trees along all of our streets and along East Division and Old Lebanon Dirt Road. These are representative images of the architecture. This is an example of the larger homes, the front-loaded homes within the neighborhood. Now these two, the garage access is going to be from the side, not from the front, because they'll be accessed from the alley or the private drive. This is an example of the single-family detached alley loaded. These are the townhomes that would be facing East Division and Old Lebanon Dirt Road. This is the example of the clubhouse. And then we have some representative images of the type of commercial that we would see happening here. All the commercial fronts out to Old Lebanon Dirt Road, and then you have this small section that fronts interior, creates kind of a small Main Street atmosphere with another commercial building anchoring it in the rear. With that, I'm happy to address any questions that I didn't cover in that quick presentation.
Just one on the commercial.
Yes, sir.
In a 55 and up controlled community, what types of businesses do you see as being beneficial or as part of that commercial? I realize may not have them locked down yet, but in general.
We don't have them locked down, and EPCON will not be developing the commercial. We will be partnering with a commercial developer to develop the commercial. It has not been identified yet.
Okay.
Please, Commissioner Franklin.
Yeah, I asked it last time, I'm gonna ask it again. About April of this year, the Planning Commission recommended a change to the parking, loading and access regulations, ordinance 2025-26. And 9-106-104 says location of on-street parking, no parking shall be provided on arterials, community collectors or minor collectors. Parking along residential collectors shall be limited to areas serving community amenities only. And B, road B is your private, right in the middle, your private road. You've asked for a, you want 8-foot wide parking lanes, parallel parking lanes on it. But I guess I gotta ask again, would you consider letting that be private? And I'll tell you why. One, you won't be in violation of our ordinance, that'd be helpful. Won't have to have a variance for it. But the other thing, the closer you push people together, the more they don't get along, the more they argue and fuss and fight, and they call the police to try to resolve it. And this thing is squeezed up pretty tight, about as tight as it gets. I don't know if everybody knows, but the original R1 was not about septic tanks. When the state of Tennessee in the mid-60s went to R1, 1 acre lots all across Tennessee, it was to keep the sheriff's department from always being called out. They figured an acre was about enough to keep people apart from always complaining. When you got all this on-street parking where people who are gonna come visit people on a public road, you always got the guys gonna watch Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night, and the Super Bowl party. He's gonna have parties, he's gonna litter the street with people. Somebody's gonna have a boat, somebody's gonna have a truck, somebody's gonna have an old car. They never move. And they're gonna be constantly calling our police department, who's got a lot of better things to do, but they're fussing about that public parking on that public street. That's one point. Second point is, nobody pays my parking lot. I can't get Jill to send anybody out to pave my driveway. And so everybody in the city in 18, 20 years, whenever we repave this, when the city takes this public parking, we're gonna be paving parking for visitors, for people in this development. So would you please, could you do, you get one whole
Yes.
commission vote probably out of this.
Yes.
Okay. Private street, would the rest of the commission be amenable to that?
Street B is the
As long as engineering
one
and staff
from
tells
Old Lebanon
us
Dirt Road
It's the
to
only,
Division.
it's Street B is from the,
Old Lebanon Dirt Road to Division?
no, it's the other one, the one that runs right in the middle of development.
The east-west.
I just wanna make it private, gets our police out of there, keeps us from having to
The
pay.
one that says public ROW
Yeah.
east-west.
And doesn't
Commissioner,
matter
yes,
then.
we're talking about this, the interior street.
Correct. Right?
Other than that, I like the development, I've warmed up to it a whole lot. I like that you can go right out of this development, either way you wanna go, east or west. people figure that out real quick, you never have to make a left turn out of this thing if you don't want to, unless you're
So legally, if you did the private road, would people who are just passing by in that area be violating any?
No.
Well, it can be a private alley, private roadway, and you can still access it.
Private
Yes,
roadway,
it'll have
public
an
access.
public ingress, egress, access easement across it, so.
They're just gonna classify it as.
Yes.
so
It'll
you don't
just,
have to-
it'll just turn over
They
maintenance.
have to maintain it, and the police don't necessarily have to police it.
The HOA will figure out if they want boats, if they want trailers, if they want, how long you can park there.
None of those are allowed.
Sounds like fun.
Commissioner Giles?
They are on public streets.
Yeah.
Amendments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Hang on, Commissioner Giles had, you wanna go now, or,
Whatever you want me to, I don't care.
please, floor's yours.
Okay. So I saw on here where that you had the sidewalk coming up from one of these parking lots to that cemetery. So that's how people that wants to come to visit that cemetery is gonna get in there, right there?
Yes,
Okay.
sir, right
So
there.
that would be a sidewalk. And how wide are the sidewalks on, Old Lebanon Dirt Road?
I believe those are,
I believe there's 6.
I believe Old Lebanon Dirt Road is 6 and East Division is 8.
Okay, all right. Now, I've got a couple of, thank you. I've got a couple of, I don't know, it would be conditions, I guess it would be amendments. I'm just so used to amendments on the commission. Is that what it should be, Sam?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Conditions of approval or conditions of recommendation, should Commissioner Giles, they wouldn't be, he said he's
It'd
used
be
to the world of
conditions.
amendments. In this case, it would be conditions from planning.
I mean, honestly, you can kind of do it either way.
Yeah.
Okay, same thing. Okay, number one. I would like to make a motion that there be a trigger and the commercial portion of the PUD should be completed by the 75th CO. I'm making that motion and we're going.
Well, you don't need to make a motion
Okay.
yet until we have a motion on the
Okay.
floor, but do you wanna go ahead and mention them for discussion?
Yeah,
Or do you
both
wanna
of
wait
them.
until?
Okay.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead and
okay,
mention them
both
for
of them.
discussion,
All
then
right.
when the motion's made, you can add
That's number
them.
one.
Okay.
And number two, I would like for y'all to provide the CCRs indicating that the development will remain age restrictive, 55 and over in perpetuity. I can say that right.
Indefinitely, so much easier to pronounce.
I know, but that's just the word.
Commissioner Giles?
Yes.
It would probably be, I would recommend just having them follow the federal HOPA guidelines. That's the Housing for Older Persons Act, and that would rope in everything.
Oh, okay.
Federal HOPA, like HOPA?
HOPA, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That wasn't from
We
Star
follow
Wars,
all
was
the
it? Okay.
requirements.
And so, and it would be
If they're required to follow those guidelines. then it would
indefinite, right?
remain-
That's the word, perpetuity or indefinite, so, okay, so change
Perpetuity is
that
probably a
to
little,
the Star Wars
Star Wars.
phrase.
I got you. So those would be, should a motion be made, two items you'd like to put on there? I got a couple of just comments, questions, real quick,
Yes,
that I want to make sure I chime in on. One is the sidewalk system that runs both sides of the public right of way or the now private road,
Yes, sir.
or potential now private road. You have around your retention pond, your sidewalk, then your sidewalk access back over to that right there. Can we make sure that that access point lines up? Because just looking at your sidewalk plan, your pedestrian circulation plan that you proposed, it doesn't appear that it's direct alignment. The reason why I'm doing that is because I'd also, should staff feel appropriate, seems like it's working over in Providence right now, maybe a raised crosswalk at that section. It could also act like a traffic calming device on some cut through right there. Hang on, I'll let you come back to you because I know you got another comment for us as well. But at least alignment at that point right there to make sure it just doesn't look like, yeah, it doesn't look like they're right across from each other on my plan.
Talking about right here?
You bet.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that we get alignment. I don't care if it moves down to the south one or to the north one, whatever, just as long as there's potential straight across. At one of those sidewalk sections right there is just because I could see if I lived here, probably going to be something to eat over here, probably going to walk there, bicycle there, one of the two right there. So I just want to make sure that that is a good, seems like a logical connectivity point. So I want to make sure that that's something in there. I feel like, especially with the age right here, and especially with the density that you're requesting right here, that one of the things that is working, I don't know if it's your product or similar product, but the Old Pleasant Grove product that is very similar to this right now, or not Old Pleasant Grove, yeah, on Pleasant Grove, isn't that right? Yeah, on Pleasant, Walton's.
Isn't that Walton's Grove?
Yeah, Walton's Grove. Yeah, or whatever the name of it is. We're all kind of familiar with it a little bit. They have, I was familiar with the Courtyard deal because they have the Courtyard deal over there at their thing as well. One of the things that's working over there, at least my understanding is working over there, is a community garden. It's a place of gathering. It's a place that they all work on together. It provides things that Commissioner Franklin was talking about, no street fights or anything else happening out there on their private street. But we can give them an opportunity. You got those 2 lots just sitting right there next to that amenity center that to me scream grass, scream picnic, scream picnic table, scream community garden, scream gathering place, scream potential. Everybody likes pickleball now, but you know, that's could be a fad, couldn't be a fad. A lot of people used to have tennis courts in their yards and those are gone. So, but grass never goes away. Grass is never bad. So if you want to, if my grandkids come over and hey, been playing baseball, let's go pitch a little baseball. Really, that would, it offers up, screams to me an opportunity right there. I know it causes you to lose 2 lots. I'd really like you to consider maybe losing one of them or maybe losing both of them because I think that right there could add, and I think it adds value to your neighborhood. I know that losing lots doesn't necessarily always add value, but I think it adds value to you right there, and it screams opportunity for something like that. I just don't know that your green space right now, I don't want it up on low Lebanon Dirt Road next to the retention pond. That, you know, that to me runs a safety risk, and I don't know that that's enough room between your amenity center and the pickleball court, which appears to be some more open space. But it just screams opportunity for me right now.
I think I can find a spot for a community garden.
I think it'd be awesome. They're. I mean, I'm telling you, my understanding is they love it. Yeah. So I'm not going to require, but I would really like you to work on that with staff, or maybe even something that you could come for is, hey, we've thrown in another amenity. We are the planning commission. We're going to the board of commissioners. I think it screams opportunity for you.
I think we can definitely find a spot for the community garden for the residents without dropping lots.
This would be a question, maybe back for staff, maybe back for yourself. Should tonight's ordinance that we've given a positive recommendation back to the BOC in regards to lot size, if this were submitted and that ordinance had been passed, it would have zero effect on this project.
Because this is mixed use PUD.
Perfect.
Not a straight residential.
Not a straight residential out there. That's hence I just want to kind of understand our ordinance as well, because it's some of these, and we may want to consider again. It's projects like this that to me as well scream the availability of that ordinance and just getting your building separated. It's what's giving me more heartburn these days is that everything is connected out there. What really gives me more heartburn as well, it's not really the HOAs, it's the fact that these HOAs are controlled by these companies that nobody can get a hold of, and all they do is collect your money, and they really don't care what you say, but you better follow what they say or you're in trouble. They don't care for our homeowners the way that they should, and we're putting all of these in control of these HOA or these property management companies that got a nice little hustle going amongst themselves, in my opinion. So they're all age restriction, traffic calming, line sidewalk. That's just a curious question. Hang on, I had 2 more. All right, waiver number 3, F. The use of vinyl shall be prohibited. Talk to me about that vinyl, because we always try to not do vinyl anywhere, but that is condition.
It's just
you've requested it.
I think it may be just the soffits on these things that are vinyl.
That does not require a waiver on our behalf.
Then
A
there's
soffit
nothing
does
else-
not, because a
there's nothing
soffit
else
is
in the home
underneath.
that's vinyl. They're brick and hardy.
So your gable accents, dormers, whatever we're doing, our accent stuff is going to be something besides vinyl. I know because some of your renderings, you got shake up there, and
That's
it looks
not
like vinyl.
That's not vinyl. That's hardy.
So you're going to use a hardy shake up there?
Yes.
Okay.
The building materials are
Yeah.
brick, stone.
And your
and
fascia, I'm assuming, is going to be aluminum, but your soffit would be a vinyl.
I think, the
Most
only
likely.
the only heartburn we had was when they said prohibit all vinyl. When it's worded that way, there was no clarification that didn't mean we could have vinyl soffits.
All of our soffits that shouldn't kick in that requirement. So I can strike F. Would that be appropriate staff question? I don't think that a soffit would trigger that.
No, it does not. We included that, it's like a kind of like a standard comment, when we, on a PMDP like this, where sometimes, we don't have we got renderings, we don't have elevations.
Okay.
With percentages, so we put that in there, but it does specifically refer to the facade
Yeah.
rather than soffit.
I know it's saying it's
Yes.
prohibited, but
Yes.
yeah, okay, perfect. So, 2-car garage doors shall be provided with a 2-foot brick column to separate. That's our ordinance, correct, that we're asking that?
That is of the single family only.
Of the single family, so
Or
these
of the
large.
the detached units only. It does not apply to the attached structure.
Okay, perfect, because I was
You
gonna
don't have
say,
a column requirement for
especially with your thing that we're not gonna let people park anywhere but in those garages, that's a little bit prohibitive to hell, it's hard to open your door on a 20-foot wide garage.
It find it harder for to be politically correct.
Yeah.
The older people to miss the column in the middle of the garage.
No. Well, it's your if I had to be a betting man right now, your garage is probably about 20 feet wide, and 16-foot garage door gives you an ability to get out of a car. 2-foot center on a 2 8-foot garage doors offer you about 1.5 feet to be able to get out of your car when you pull in forward. So that was my concern, was actually that right there, but it should alleviate on your single family if you build something wider than 20 feet. I think that's all. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Further questions, comments? You have one more, Commissioner
Somebody
Jones?
else had something else.
What? Go ahead.
Yeah, what kind of ownership are these? Is it fee?
It's simple.
Okay, very good.
They're all on.
Thank you.
And Todd, my apologies. I know that you wanted to say something while Art was speaking, and myself, please.
No worries, sir. Just to go back to Road B becoming private, I'd like to give the development the opportunity to not stub to the adjacent lot in that case. There's just, the lots next to it are big enough and they will meet our access code that they'll get their driveway on Old London Dirt Road or Division. There's no need to have them cut through this.
That's better.
I would have to agree with that,
That's better.
especially if we want it to be private.
And then on Road A, we've been asked by fire to reduce the number of raised crosswalks. So we are asking for offset speed tables instead, which allow ambulances the chance to go around the vertical deflection in the road instead of having to go over. They've been having problems keeping patients on their gurneys.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's just a space in it between each two, like one in the middle, and then there's an opening on both sides. Is that right?
Yeah, so there'll be
the tires
one,
go through it.
There'll be one in one lane, and then the next one will be, say, 20 foot further down the road, where if the ambulance can swerve in between. Now, vehicles can as well, but you'd risk, facing oncoming traffic to do so. You're liable. They are an approved traffic control device by Federal Highway Administration. So we were using this as an opportunity to implement that strategy and not do it.
See, I know that y'all have heard me about my speed table thing. Now I've got a loathing like no other on the speed tables in the city of Mount Juliet. I have not found one that I believe is per standard. I mean, I'll argue that. I'm welcome to go on a ride along, but for some reason, the raised side crosswalks work. So my sister lives in Providence, so I go down Providence Trail pretty often. Those are not bad, but our speed tables are brutal. I mean, I personally have a car. I can't go down roads right now in Mount Juliet unless I have to go sideways like this, which is in basically that motion that you're suggesting. So on this, I would be one of the cars in my personal car that I'm literally going to be the cat that's going to do that. I mean, that's an honest statement. I mean, he's going to give me a ticket. So I am still more in. I don't know that I could support that until we have a standard or something that shows that these speed tables don't have that rise and run like the ones that the city has built. I mean, not even development built. That I just, my faith went away in those, like right in, right outs in some places. I just don't think that we've adopted the standards out there that those follow. And if we have, then I don't think that they're being enforced or installed properly, according to what I've read out there.
Yeah,
I think that the center rise right there, appears to be about a 6-inch. And literally, I mean, that's what they're fussing about, is these that we've already built. In my opinion, Commissioner Giles, we should tear them all out right now and redo them at our expense, the city's expense, because the city installed most of them, and they're not good. They're not right. That's what they're fussing about, people bouncing off that and cars not being able to go.
Well, I slow down.
I slow down too.
I slow down to 15 miles an hour.
But that's,
And
so I
I
guess
go,
it's
do what?
that.
No, I mean, if I'm going 25, I slow down to 15 to go over, then I go back to 25, and then I go over at 15. That's what I do, and I don't have no problem.
Yeah, but I guess what's the ultimate?
I just can't
point,
cross
right?
it.
Are we
I just can't get over
Are we
without
trying
going
to
sideways.
keep traffic to the speed limit, or are we trying to keep traffic under the speed limit? Because some of them allow speed limit, but if you're 5 over, it's a jolt. Some of them require 15 miles an hour just to get
I
over it
guess I
cleanly.
do, because I don't want the bump.
Well, yeah, but if you go over it at the speed limit, which I think you should be able to, it should be relatively smooth. But some of them, it's not possible.
The raised
you
crosswalk.
have to go 10 or 15.
Right now, the
Just
ones that are
clear.
working are the raised crosswalks.
Well, we
Crazy
have
enough.
signs that says 15.
Oh, I go 15.
You know.
I just saying that my whole car.
No, but I'm just saying, we have down in one place.
That comes
Are you
back to
referring
having.
like the one on Tate Lane in front of the railroad track, one of them?
Oh, yeah, when we made a motion on that neighborhood, I asked for that to be a condition of approval and have that thing removed.
Seems to me, I cross that quite frequently, and it's a dangerous,
Oh, we can go right
placement
along.
of the
Yeah.
speed bump itself, and you're trying to decide to go up to the railroad track or when you're trying to pull out onto Division, and it's very tricky. I'm like,
I didn't know it was
where's the
there,
train?
and I hit it. It was ugly. Yeah, I don't go up Tate Lane very often, but I went to Rotary and as a visitor, and I came across the railroad tracks and then nosed down on that bad boy, and I was like one of the ambulatory patients. I went bouncing. Todd, please, sorry about it.
Yeah, I think for tonight, I'd recommend that we change the condition from the opposite speed table to just traffic calming.
Yeah.
And then we put a clause that says to be determined at FMDT.
Amen.
And I'll get
I love
me time to get more information for y'all.
That'd be fantastic. I love it.
Perfect.
Yeah, because it's going to be a cut through, so we need to make sure that we're taking appropriate measures on that.
We'll still line the sidewalk up.
Yeah, please. Questions, comments? That's what long
I've
meeting.
got one more, just a comment. I made a question.
Yeah,
So
please.
we are widening, by the time this is finished, we are widening Division, correct? Out to where this, you were talking about earlier.
This development will be in charge of widening.
Right, but what I'm
Division
saying is by the
temporarily.
time when will they widen that?
2031 probably. but that's assuming we get the funding for it. Now, Matt White's been incredible at getting funding for our city's transportation projects.
Absolutely.
But that is not necessarily a guarantee, and that's why we're asking for these interim improvements.
Very good. Further questions, comments? Good. Thank you. Let's go ahead and call for citizen comments in regards to this item on the agenda. Any citizens wishing to make comment are welcome and encouraged to do so. And please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. You have waited quite some time. Well played.
Yeah.
Thank you for your patience.
Give me a minute.
Thank you. I understand. Thank you for your patience.
Just Devon, 3460 East Division Street. Before I comment that, can I make a productive comment
You
comment
may.
on your speed bumps?
Yes, please.
I work in downtown, they don't work. I also work in property management, and those are like snowplow magnets for damage. And when it snows, vehicles trying to cross them, you end up with accidents on them. So when you fall asleep or start dozing off on the interstate and hit that rumble strip, come 4 feet off your crosswalks, have your asphalt guy put in-ground rumble strips there, and people will audibly hear it and feel it on the steering wheel. Don't waste your money building a hump you're gonna have to replace every 2 or 3 years.
You know, the only issue with that, what if
I know
it-
there's codes on that.
Yeah, what if it was right in front of your house? Wake up, wake up. All right, floor is yours. Name and address for the record, please.
3460 East Division Street.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Did I hear correctly, the widening's not gonna be till 2031 on East Division Street?
That's tentative.
Please.
Yeah, that's really my only issue, because with McFarland Farms Phase 1 coming online, and when this comes online, it's great that the developers are putting these widened sections just like they did with the first phase of McFarland Farms. But when the connection points to North Mount Juliet Road, like on Old Lebanon Dirt Road, and also East Division going basically west into town, it's, I mean, traffic's already queues up in the mornings, especially if you don't get out of that area, you know, before 7 o'clock. And with the timing on the traffic lights, it's just a lot of additional traffic. So I was just, my main concern was over that and just knowing the timeline, because Division Street's just getting beat to death with commercial traffic. Box trucks, you know, 40, 60, 80,000 pound tractor trailers, it's ripping out, alligator cracking. I mean, we're doing, there's pothole repairs that y'all are doing, but they're falling apart within, you know, 90 days in some sections. So that's my main concern. And the only other comment I have is, in addition, when that project goes through, I would kind of make a suggestion to the city, since there are only probably about 12 property owners on the north side of Division Street between Mount Juliet Road and essentially Beckwith Road right now, is there any plans to put a greenway with, say, like an 8-foot walking trail on that north side? Because as these developers come in, we know they're gonna come in, McFarland Farms are gonna be there. It's great they have internal walking trails, but just like on West Division where you've got that paved pathway, have that in place, and as these developments pop in, like the one at Golden Bear and East Division that's going on the east side connector, you can already have that in place, work with the property owners, because there are sections that are pretty wide open. And we can go ahead and get that in place. I'm already mowing about a mile of easement for the city anyway, between the bridge and Rutland Drive, so just to keep it clean. And I just think that would be a good investment to look at. Pre-plan it so that when developers come in and say, hey, we got about 25 feet here, the MTE's already got the right of way, the water lines are already there. Let's go ahead and just have that stuff prepped. And that way you've got that walking trail, and then that whole live, walk, play concept. You can say to developers, hey, we want to make connections across East Division from, I can't remember the name of that new development that's going on Golden Bear, but it gives them an option to incorporate a walking feature, and that's roughly about 2 miles or more walkway. And then down the road, get with Curb Road Farms when they finally develop that out. You've already got a trailhead on Golden Bear that comes downhill, connect back uphill the other side, connect all the way to Mount Juliet High School. And your track teams would have a place to run, your ROTC teams would have running trails, and the people who like to bike, who have kids who want to ride a bike, they don't have to be in subdivisions and in neighborhoods. They can be on an 8-foot wide path with hopefully 15 feet by the roadway, and then a little bit easement on the side, and then put all your planters for your community gardens along that pathway, and let Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, nonprofit groups, and churches put that material in there, and then tie it back into that town center concept.
Probably one of the best comments I've heard in years.
And
Honestly,
where they're
that's-
wanting to put the Wawa and all that,
You've-
they've got to build all that out. Golden Bear Place is going to build out. I've got the original wagon trail behind my house on the south side with a 100-year-old century stone wall going downhill to Beckwith Baptist Church.
This is, in case you don't know him, this is Commissioner Giles, and I promise you're not going to meet a man more passionate about sidewalks or greenways, walking, connectivity. His information is on the city website, and I'm going to speak for you, Art. I'm sorry, but I known Art for a long time, and it really is his passion. I would like for him to reach out to you and share. You've looked at this, so you got some vision. I'm sure he would welcome. I mean, I'm going to speak for you. The opportunity to talk through your vision.
Yeah, and
That's
it's like
pretty creative.
Commissioner Franklin said, it's fine we have new citizens coming in, but you gotta have that elbow room. So it's like, unfortunately, I'm not Dr. Clarity. I don't have all the acreage to say, hey, Mount Juliet, you wanna have the 4th of July fireworks show here in this big open space where people can just walk and we can just park people in the farm fields and have a fireworks show there instead of backing up all the traffic everywhere else. But that's just my comments.
Yeah, I want Shane to comment, and thank you on this, because if I'm not mistaken, it is our Greenway plan to go all the way up through there.
So,
but
yeah, I just talked to Director White. He said there's going to be sidewalk on one side, multi-use path on the other side as part of the lighting project.
Yeah, I'd see where I'd like to see where your thoughts. I mean, I'm kind of visioning this in my head. And we all have city emails as well. I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
kind of like a little mini Natchez race. I mean, I joke with people. It's like I live on the Natchez race.
Yeah.
Past Golden Bear. So, and it's like I'm not akin to people walking through a property line just like they do up in East Tennessee when people go on those hiking trails. You just get basically releases of signs by the property owners as long as people keep the trailways clear and there's some maintenance done on the walking paths. Everybody kind of wins, and then when developers come in, and I work for a property management company, I understand they have to make their return on investment, but it's an amenity they don't have to pay for, and it also reduces traffic load because people are like, well, hey, I can bike down to the train station in the morning. So but that's my comments. Thank you.
Thank you for closing us with that. That's well said, well put. Any additional citizen comments? See no additional citizen comments. I'd like to make looking for a recommendation in regards to this item on our agenda. Do you want to make the recommendation, or would you prefer?
With those that I've put in there, right?
I'll make a recommendation for a positive recommendation with the addition of the commercial to be completed by the 75th CO, with the CCRs in the development to develop under the federal HOPA, H-O-P-A, indefinitely, and the change of Road B to a private road with the condition that Road B no longer shows connectivity to the property to the east. I believe it would be to the east, and subject to staff comments with a positive recommendation. That's my recommendation. There will be a motion and a second by Commissioner Franklin. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising their hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? It is a positive recommendation. The next item I'm looking for is a motion to adjourn. Motion by Commissioner Searcy, second by Commissioner Franklin. All those in favor signify by saying aye and raising their hand. Aye. Against? Abstentions? We are adjourned.